have seen some good signs. Republicans coming out in very strong numbers today. Democrats had been leading for quite some time in terms of getting out the vote. Republicans making up that difference and then some in just today. And that's very typical of the vote here in the state of Florida. The Republicans coming out very strong on Election Day. In fact, Donald Trump ended up beating Hillary Clinton by 13 percentage points on Election Day alone. Throughout the United States, we are seeing swing states that very much like 16, all of the polling has been within the margin of error. And this is one of those elections, I think, quite frankly, Drew, I'd ask you, this is probably the most unpredictable election in modern American history.
I'm not even sure what to say right now as I'm looking at some of the coverage and realizing how people are excited about the turnout. I hear a lot about how in the state of Florida and some of the numbers that we were seeing. I've been following this a couple of different sites. And one in particular that has been following in the state of Florida the numbers as they've been coming in. And across the afternoon into right now, as we're watching some of the video of some of the turnout there on Wink News and some of the people that have been standing in line. And if you've been in line before 7 p.m., you better stay there. You stay there and you vote, and you got down ballot issues, and we got a lot of things going on. But it's amazing how early on the talk was about how all the early mail-in voting was all Democrats strong in the state of Florida. And then this one a Twitter account, I have to check it out and see what they're doing right now, and I forget who it is that's running it. But they've been aggregating all the numbers coming in throughout the afternoon, hour by hour. And you're steadily watching all the Democrat lead go away to the point where everything about noon flipped today. Yep. And then now you're talking about the difference of the last I checked, I want to say it was 100 and was it 160,000? How much was it?
If I may stop you,
please.
What you're talking about right now is the Republican advantage over Democrats. How many Republicans have voted more than Democrats? And we are well over 200,000 now. And Drew, just maybe 2 days ago, we had a Democratic operative on who said, if we can keep it at just about 120,000 vote difference, we're in a really safe space. We're more confident than ever that Joe Biden can win. Right. So let me again, I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers out to everybody, but where we're at right now is the Democrats wanted the difference between Republican votes and Democrat votes to be a difference, a slim margin of 120,000. The Democrats said, if Republicans only have 120,000 more, we're in a good spot.
Right.
And we're at well over 200,000 now.
And they're talking about right now, I mean, I don't know exactly what the numbers look like right now, but the discussion, the talk, all right, so some of the local races, some of those local numbers are starting to come in, that we could be reaching in excess of 200,000 plus by the time this is all said and done.
We're 209.
Right. We're 209 right now?
Yep.
Wow.
209 was the last number I had.
Which is crazy considering that in 2016, I think it peaked at, what did it peak at in 2016? It was 100 and I forget what it was. It was 100 plus thousand. But the idea that we would see that the kind of surge from the votes that came in today, and the lack of Broward, Miami-Dade, that area, and what happened there, it's to me is just that's the stunning part of all of this is how Miami-Dade, Broward, and obviously they're going to want to make the play late. They're the ones that will be the late arrivals. Yep. They always are. But they've already talked about, and many people have talked about how that stronghold, the one that always comes through and says, hey, you need 10,000 votes? We got them. Just wait. Sit back. If you're talking about the difference of hundreds of thousands now, as opposed to what we were looking at in the past, and some of the numbers even how close it was in 2018 in some of the races, if we're looking at those kind of numbers, and there is not the big blue wave, if you will, in the Miami-Dade, Broward areas was expected, these big numbers, the turnout, that bodes well for the president here in the state.
It does. One of the things that over about the past week I've spoken ad nauseum about, but I will again because I know we're going to have all sorts of new people dipping in and out of their show as we continue our special election coverage here on 92.5 Fox News. Drew, I was looking at the stats of Cuban Americans compared to Obama to today, and Cuban Americans under the age of 45 years old came out in big numbers for Obama.
Yeah.
Like 70th percentile. The number of them supporting Joe Biden today is in the teens. I mean, an enormous difference. I believe so when I start looking at this theory of a hidden vote, and you know as well as I do, at 16 you start talking about the hidden vote and you're one of these crazy people. Oh sure, silent majority, it doesn't exist. The pollsters know what they're doing. This is science. You idiot Republicans don't believe in science. There's no hidden vote.
Right.
And what we saw was that hidden vote broke Donald Trump past the margin of error and surpassed Hillary Clinton in states that they could have never imagined. He would have Florida was one, but Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin. I think here in Florida, the crazy irony will end up being Puerto Rican vote and the Cuban vote. And of course, you mix in Venezuelans, Colombians, Argentinians, that in Miami, deep blue Miami-Dade, end up flipping for Donald Trump, or they just don't vote at all.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at the big picture here, again, kind of going back to that theme, man, of how unpredictable this race is, I believe you bring in Hispanics in the state of Florida, and I believe other parts of the United States as well. The black vote, I think that you will see some go to Donald Trump. I don't think it's going to be in these huge numbers that some supporters have believed. And they look at various statistics, unemployment, even criminal justice, which when I served in Congress, I worked extensively with the Congressional Black Caucus.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand it. May not be huge numbers, but the other part about the black vote in the United States today is that Joe Biden, sorry, you're not exactly an inspirational figure. You sure as hell are no Barack Obama. So the Hispanics, the black vote, and then when it comes to polling, the fear.
Yeah.
I mean, people today simply don't want to say, I'm voting for Donald Trump. I mean, I've often shared, like, you try to wear a MAGA hat in Miami, a Boston, a New York, a Chicago. You may be physically assaulted.
Yeah.
And I think that the fear is yet another one of these sort of hidden votes potentially built in, people who don't want to answer polls. And then finally, Republicans who did not vote for Donald Trump in 2016 and who absolutely are going to this round.
Well, a couple of things that you probably, and you talk to the same people I talk to. So when I talk to Steve Cortez, or we talk to Don Jr., or we talk to Eric, who's been on the show numerous times, and talk to Mercedes Schlapp and others, and one thing they all say is, if you do the numbers and you look at the numbers of the people that have showed up at these rallies, 10, 20, 50,000 people showing up at the rallies, and then they start talking about the numbers of and the voting registration, who voted last time, who didn't vote, who are Democrats, you come to find out that there are a lot of people that are showing up at Trump rallies that either didn't vote in 2016 or they're Democrats. There are big numbers of people that in the past you would have looked at and thought, well, there's no way that they're going to be showing up at these rallies, but they are. So to your point, yeah, how many people are voting for Donald Trump this time around? And not only will not say it, have done it today, and don't say anything to their friends or family. As a matter of fact, if they're lucky, they get to a polling place and nobody's around. It's just them, and they get in quick and get out, and they vote for Donald Trump and will not tell anybody. And then the other part of it was, who was I talking? Steve Cortez yesterday, when I played the audio of Maximo Alvarez. The powerful audio when he was talking about how in the Cuban community, you're talking Venezuelans, you talk about you're looking at Miami-Dade, Broward, and the makeup of the area, and you say to yourself, where else are we going to go if not America? The families understand what it's like to live under a regime. They understand what it looks like when socialism is creeping up. There's Hogan Gidley, and there's a president who I was just looking at the video on Wink. But that because these are the same individuals talking about this as well, that how many people, not just in those communities, if you're talking about Southwest Florida, but how many people does across the country does that reflect as well? That they see what is happening with a default Kamala Harris, who's a communist. I don't care what anybody says.
Yep.
She's a communist.
You saw that video she put out the other day. Yeah.
If that's not if that is communism on display, people, I'm sorry, but that's what it is. When the people who are jokingly saying, well, the 25th Amendment, getting the 25th Amendment and talking about not able to perform your duty as president of the United States. And we got to get him out of office. And people saying, hey, Democrats, maybe this is really Nancy Pelosi's way of saying, we really know what Joe Biden's about, and we just want to get him in so that we can get him out. There's a half joke in there. But really, when you think about it, after hearing Biden and some of the things that he has been saying, how can you honestly, when you look at the rallies, understand what's at stake, right, in this election? And then what you see in Joe Biden himself, and the policies that they would put in place, which we need to get into tonight, to kind of crescendo all of this and say, if Joe Biden is president of the United States after tonight, what are we going to see? And then some of the local races, by the way, which we have to get into, and some of the politics there as well, sneaking in this town.
Yeah, let's, in fact, we could take a look at Fort Myers, where Anderson has a lead right now. Let's get to some calls here. Let's go to Lexi in the Cape. Hey, Lexi, you're on the drive. I'm sorry, you're on a special election coverage.
Call it the drive. Hey, and by the way, we're also on YouTube if you want to watch. Streaming live at Drew Steele Radio, Steele with 3 E's. You can see us, and here you go.
What's up, Lexi?
Hey, Trey. Hey, Drew.
Hey.
I just wanted to say, I'm 19. I turned 18 last year, first year I'm voting.
Woo.
And I am so freaking nervous. I'm keeping such a close eye on this election. Last time I checked, it was like 955 for Trump in the state of Florida and 821,000 for Biden. And I'm literally sitting here watching this with such a close eye. I mean, I've been reading stuff about, it's possible Florida's going to turn blue. Florida's been red since 96, I think. I mean, and it's like crazy to me to think about how we have the third most amount of electoral votes tied with New York. And it's just like, it's freaking me out because, I mean, that's the next 4 years of my life I have to worry about.
Yeah. And that's, that is such an interesting point about time periods and how people look at elections, their age, and where you were when. And to think that there's a generation right now, there's a voting bloc that does not know much more than Barack Obama as president of the United States and then 4 years of Trump and the differences. And I wonder how much, Trey, that plays into some decisions that are being made quietly. Like you even in the culture, right? Politics is downstream from culture. Period. It's there is never said better than the fact that that is so true. But I wonder how many people are looking now and where you have a generation that heard about how awesome Barack Obama was and how great the country was and look at all the fantastic things. And then Donald Trump comes along and all of a sudden certain things that were talked about before actually are tangible in people's lives because you just lived 4 years. And if you take the president out of the equation, your life is pretty stinking good. I mean, for most Americans, when you're talking about the economy, jobs, opportunities, some of the things that the president has delivered on. And now all of a sudden you have a completely different take, like on what is greatness in the office and what isn't.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think that in terms of leading us out of this horrific situation with the pandemic, that I would hope that many people, when they begin to flip from Democrat to Republican, they see that, and I think that independents end up breaking for Donald Trump as well. Hey, Lexi, when you chat with friends of yours, do you talk politics? First of all, is anyone even voting that's around your age?
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't have any friends outside of my boyfriend, and his mom and his dad are very deep into politics, and they're both Trump supporters, 100%. Those are the only three people I talk politics with.
Because you don't want to talk politics with anybody else, do you?
Exactly. It frightens me because, I mean, we've got two Trump Pence signs in our front yard. We live on a corner lot, so there's one on each side. And I mean, I'm sitting like in bed last night because we just got back from vacation, and I'm like thinking, what if our house gets like, broken into because we've got Trump signs in the front yard?
Yep.
I've seen all this stuff, people supporting Trump and, going out and verbally telling people that they're supporting Trump, and then they're being attacked and they're being mugged and their houses are being broken into, businesses are being broken into, they're being robbed, the riots are happening. And it's just like, it's a scary like time to live, especially having like never experienced much of like outside and like being an adult per se. It's my first year voting. It's my first year actually like having adult responsibilities like voting. And it's just so scary to me to like see that this is what I'm dealing with right now. I never thought it would like come to this point.
Yep. Well, look, Lexia, I think that that's an unfortunate and terrible reflection on the left today when you, as someone who, you say not necessarily an adult, look, you are educated, you're voting, you're already a million steps ahead of so many other 18 and 19-year-olds out there who don't participate in politics at all, who don't think for themselves, who just follow whatever headline they see on social media or whatever they hear on television. And you're illustrating what I think is a horrific reflection on the left today, that someone who simply says, you know what, I believe in the policies that Donald Trump has executed from the White House. I believe in his philosophies. And because of that, you feel threatened for your life or at your own home because you have a freaking Trump pen sign up. But look, that's a reflection of what we're seeing throughout the United States when you see people shouted down at dinner tables in Pittsburgh because they won't raise their fist for other people in the resistance. It's what you're seeing in Washington, D.C., Chicago, New York right now with businesses being boarded up. And it's not because some, baby boomer Trump supporters are going to go start kicking out windows and looting Louis Vuitton. It's the left. And it's inexcusable, but it is where we are today. Lexi, you keep doing what you're doing.
And Lexi, you always have us. You always have us.
I appreciate it. And one more thing before I let you all go, because I know you got more calls to get to. Funniest thing that I've seen throughout this entire span of this election period is I have seen so many people on social media bashing Trump, and I have seen so many people talking about why they won't vote for Trump and how horrible Trump is. And then, you turn around and you see that those people aren't posting anything in support of Biden. They're just bashing the people that are voting for Trump.
Yep. Yeah, I think
They
that
won't post any positive thing about Biden, but they'll sit there and they'll bash people voting for a president that's actually doing something decent for the country.
Yep. Yeah, and quite honestly, Lexi, to kind of nerd out for a second about this election and the numbers that are showing up, pollsters will use words like voter propensity, voter enthusiasm. And the reality is, I said this and I ticked some listeners off. I think Joe Biden's probably a pretty nice guy. I just don't think he stands for anything. I think he's like any politician that has been in Washington for more than 20 years. He doesn't know who he is, what his philosophies are, what he stood for, what he stands for. But the scariest part about Joe Biden, quite frankly, is the decline in his mental abilities, his mental faculties. And that scares me because of who second in line would be there. Lexi, thank you very much for sharing your perspective here. Let's get to another call. Luke in Fort Myers. Hey, Luke.
Hey, Trey, how you doing, buddy?
All right.
Hey,
Trey.
I love your show, man. It's awesome.
Thanks.
Hey,
What's
Drew's
up, Luke?
there, huh? Drew, you're my man, too.
Thank you.
I listen to you every morning, sir.
Appreciate you,
I
sir.
love it. Hey, you guys, my question, I live on McGregor Boulevard. I live on the riverside near Whiskey Creek. I stood outside with a Trump flag, holding it high and proud. I probably got about 175 beeps, and people are all happy. And about 4 people that flipped me off and threw a donut.
Threw a donut at you, bro.
Threw a donut at me. At least try to get it near my mouth. Well, I grabbed it, but yes, there's no way that the enthusiasm is so amazing, and I love it.
I agree. I
I'm
think
working
that
for a guy. We're working for a guy right now. We're doing 146 windows out of his house and like 17 doors. And the guy hates Trump, but he doesn't hate Trump. He just hates the way Trump talks. And I can't, obviously, the guy's a millionaire, and I can't talk to him, but, you know, his caretaker, you know, tries to tell him all the time. It's true. It's like, who cares? You know what? Like Bill Belichick of the New England Patriots. Yeah, he's a jerk. He's a Super Bowl winner. You know, he brings it in. I don't care if the guy's a jerk. I just want the guy to do this job.
get the job done.
You know what I mean? Do your job and get it done and do it right. And that's what's expected from me every day.
All right, my man Luke in Fort Myers. Tell you what, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we're going to get Seth Weathers. Seth is an interesting character. Seth is a political consultant based in Georgia. He's in the Atlanta area. He, in 2016, very early on, penned an op-ed in Atlanta's newspaper and was mocked in various parts of the country because he laid out how he thought Donald Trump would win the election. And he specifically called Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin. It did so with a level of specificity and was mocked. And sure enough, as we know, in 16, Trump won. We're going to get Seth Weathers' perspective. And this comes, by the way, as some early results begin pouring in both Florida and Georgia. Now, these results here in the state of Florida, which currently favor Joe Biden, a lot of that coming from the east coast of Florida, where they have larger populations that all are going to be tallied at once. So I see some texts here that are like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, why is Donald Trump losing Florida? Well, first of all, we're not even seeing like Southwest Florida and all sorts of other northern Florida and more being tallied. But you also have the Panhandle, an enormous area for Republicans, which that still doesn't even close for another half hour. We'll talk to Seth about Georgia as well, which currently, in results, is shaded a little light blue as well. Stick around. I'm Trey Radel, alongside Drew Steele for election coverage here tonight on 92.5 Fox News.
This is 92.5 Fox News.
Wink Weather Authority.
Well, look for a breezy evening, but a dry evening to continue. And we'll start off cool again late tonight into the early morning hours. Not quite as cool, but low 60s in town, upper 50s inland, and 83 for the breezy high during the day on Wednesday. Thursday, very similar, 85 the high, still breezy, but there will be a few showers by the afternoon. For Wink News, the Weather Authority, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jim Farrell.
Black Friday sales event going on now at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Lowest prices ever on over 1,500 new and certified pre-owned vehicles. 2020 Jeep Renegade Trailhawk 4x4 loaded, $139 per month. Grand Cherokee Limited or Ram Bighorn Crew Cab lease for just $299 per month. That's right, loaded luxurious Grand Cherokee Limited or award-winning Ram trucks. Your choice, just $299 per month. Plus at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, you can drive payment-free for 3 months, interest-free for 6 years, and worry-free up to 100,000 miles. And our parts service and body shop are open to serve you. Jeep Adventure Days featuring Ram Bighorn Crew Cabs and Grand Cherokee Limited for $299 per month at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 1/2 mile south of Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day, including Sunday. Call 239-481-2600. GallianaCars.com. 42 monthly, 10,000 miles per year, $32.94 due at signing plus tax title, 0 security deposit, $13.88 per month per thousand card for 72 months, 0% APR with 0 down. Lender approval offers don't combine.
Hillary Clinton called hardworking Americans like you deplorable.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
Joe Biden called us bad people.
Not very good people.
Liberal Hollywood attacks our faith.
Amy Comey Barrett, Catholic, really Catholic.
And the liberal media attacks our values.
The credulous boomer Rube demo that backs Donald Trump.
They openly hope for the death of our president. Hillary Clinton's former spokesperson said, "I hope he dies." Barack Obama's former speechwriter said, "F these people." It's disgraceful. President Trump stands with us, the people who work for a living, get our hands dirty, care for our families, worship God, and stand for our flag. And we're proud to say Donald Trump is our president.
I'm Donald Trump, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Donald J. Trump for President, Inc.
Hey guys, did you hear the good news about our boys at National Exterminators?
Yeah, boss. You mean about the $46 hit fee?
Yeah, and National Exterminators just hired an old school killer.
Bugsy the Roach, Ratso the Rat, Tony the Termite, and the Anthill Mob better worry.
I'm gonna put a big bounty on them now. Hello, National Exterminators. Get me the masked man.
Hi-ho, Silver! Yes, Godfather. Me and my trusted partner Pronto will get it done fast. Hey, Pronto, the Godfather just called, and we have to wipe out the gang of critters out west.
Out west? West of what, Kimosabi?
West of Miami, of course. Hi-ho, Silver! Low prices today!
It's me, Ratso. I think we're done. The Lone Ranger and Pronto from National Exterminators has his corner.
Want to whack your gang of pests for only $46? Just call the boys at National Exterminators. Dial 239-46-NO-BUG and at 46nobug.com.
National Exterminators.
Hillary Clinton called hardworking Americans like you deplorable.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
Joe Biden called us bad people.
Not very good people.
Liberal Hollywood attacks our faith.
Amy Comey Barrett, Catholic, really Catholic.
And the liberal media attacks our values.
The credulous boomer Rube demo that backs Donald Trump.
They openly hope for the death of our president. Hillary Clinton's former spokesperson said, "I hope he dies." Barack Obama's former speechwriter said, "F these people." It's disgraceful. President Trump stands with us, the people who work for a living, get our hands dirty, care for our families, worship God, and stand for our flag. And we're proud to say Donald Trump is our president.
I'm Donald Trump, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Donald J. Trump for President, Inc.
It's been a few months since you hired a lawyer for your injury case. You hired that lawyer without much thought or research. An ad that caught your eye. A friend told you about them. Or worse, they called you, which could have them disbarred if they were caught. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. And now you realized you made a huge mistake by hiring the wrong lawyer. Your gut tells you your case is worth way more, but your lawyer's trying to cram a settlement offer down your throat because they need the money more than you do. And then you go to forthepeople.com and see offers made and rejected and our jury verdicts. Hundreds of them. You got to see what your case should really be worth. Here's the thing. Just because you hired a lawyer doesn't mean you can't fire that lawyer. People call us every day doing exactly that, and it won't cost you one penny more. You only have one day in court. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Dial pound law on your cell. Pound law, that's all.
Offices, Fort Myers and Naples.
Tougher than plastic, harder than wood. Nothing beats the power of steel.
Drew Steel, weekday mornings at 6 on 92.5 Fox News.
Yes, I'm absolutely paying attention to the election because I think this is an important election. I think every election is important, but this one is extra important.
Are you bumping sound bites to a little Tupac? 7:34 here on 92.5 Fox News. Trey Radel alongside Drew Steele, John Cassio, Ian, Katrina. We're getting the band back together, and we are here till late night. Joining us now, we've got a great guest who we have on now every so often. His name is Seth Weathers. Seth is a political consultant and a whole lot more, business owner in the state of Georgia. He's just in the Atlanta area. Seth is a friend of the show, but holds a special place in, I think, in Donald Trump's heart, actually, because he was one of the very first prominent political consultants in the United States to not only state that Donald Trump would win, but really lay out his path and how he was going to motivate the hell out of people in places like Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin. And Seth joins us now. Seth, you are in Georgia. Here in both Florida and Georgia, we are starting to see some early results come in. I'm looking at a map right now. Both of our states, Seth, are shaded a light blue. The reason here in Florida is because a lot of numbers from the East Coast, South Florida, highly populated area, have come in with early votes. And, of course, they're going to be in favor of Joe Biden. But he has some struggles there I'll get to later. Tell us about Georgia, Seth.
Georgia right now, great to be here, by the way. By the way,
my man.
Fox, one thing, but as a good Republican, we now only listen to Lil Wayne, Lil Pimp, or whatever his name may be, 50 Cent, and Kanye.
Who have been friends of or endorsed.
All the Republicans. That's who we listen to. That's our rappers. Sorry. But no, as to right now, here's what I say on election night. People run around, they decipher, every little result that comes in, like, a third of a precinct somewhere in unknown area comes in. It doesn't matter until you get to 30 to 35% of the actual vote for a state or congressional district, whatever it may be. Until you're at that 30 to 35%, nothing matters. And so at this point, we're very early. But what I am seeing, if you break it down into some of the congressional districts, and, again, we're speaking out of turn because we haven't hit my magical number of 30 to 35%.
Sure.
We're seeing good numbers for the Republicans right now. We're seeing blowouts in districts that are already reporting a higher percentage of their votes. Like when you look at a congressional district, like Georgia 14, you've got the Republican. You've actually got almost 8,000 votes in that race. And you've got the Republican almost at 80-20. Now, again, those are hugely Republican districts. But what we're seeing right now, again, is too early to really be conclusive. But I've already told you who's going to win the race, so it's really pointless wasting time even going through these polls and results.
I hear you. If you want to visit Seth online, by the way, you find him on Twitter at Seth Weathers or his website, weatherscorp.com. Hey, Seth, there's something also very important happening in Georgia right now, which are 2 Senate races. And we certainly hope that the balance of power stays with Republicans in the United States Senate. Could you break down those 2 races that are happening, one a special election and the other the standard? Go for it.
Absolutely. So the standard election, we've got David Perdue, who's running for re-election. He's been a great senator. He is a business guy. He owned Dollar General, a lot of other businesses. He was the guy that brought back Reebok. The guy's business-minded, cut and dried conservative. And then you've got in that race, you've got John Assoff, who's this young clown that thinks he could be in the Senate, that lost a congressional race here in Georgia a few years back. And that race is shaping up to, it looks like it will not be a runoff. You've got some extra stragglers in the race. You've got a libertarian candidate and that sort of thing, an independent. But as it looks, that race, I believe, will be won by Perdue without a runoff. And then the other one, the special election, as you refer to, it's an open election. It's a jungle race, meaning our former senator actually had health issues and unfortunately had to step down, Senator Johnny Isakson. And because of that, a special election was called. It's being held today as well. And that is filled with God knows how many people. I think we're up to like 14 or 16 people, most of which are completely unlikely, impossible candidates. But we've got Doug Collins, who most people will know as a huge defender of the president on Fox News and other places, who was in Congress. And you got Kelly Loeffler, who was appointed by our governor here in Georgia. And then you've got the main Democrat, which is Warnock. And also, Joe Lieberman's son, is also in the race on the Democrat side. So that race is a total, I can't say the word, but it's a show. It's a show. But it looks, so that race is going to come down to one of the Republicans that's going to make it, and it's either going to be Loeffler or Collins against Warnock. It's up in the air. The polls are back and forth as to who's winning. My gut tells me Collins could pull it out, which would be a bit of an upset because he's not the incumbent. But it's still that one's too up in the air to call. Loeffler has all the money. Her husband literally owns the company that owns the New York Stock Exchange. Money has not been an issue. She's up to $50 million of her own personal wealth into the race. Has outspent Collins 12-1 at this point. So that race is going to be definitely one to watch. It's going to be in a runoff for sure, which will be January 5th. Which will be the deciding. It will remain in Republican hands. It's just a matter of which Republican.
And Seth, in looking at what's happening across the United States, do you think that President Trump can pull off what he did in 2016, winning Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio? I'm very confident in Florida and Ohio. Yeah. I don't want to get cocky.
Absolutely.
But what about those 3 in particular? In Wisconsin, the last one there, by the way, the polls are out of the margin of error, and Biden has been leading consistently. Your thoughts?
I believe Wisconsin's possible, and I'm talking to some people on the ground, some people close that are involved there, and I think it's possible. It's not one that I would say I would put my life on it. But the reality is we don't have to have Wisconsin. I think Michigan is totally in for the president. I'm talking to a lot of people on the ground there, a lot of people involved, as well as looking at the Trafalgar polls, which you and I have talked about multiple times. I believe Michigan is solidly President Trump. And I think Pennsylvania, if the president can win it by enough points to where it's not stolen through election fraud, I believe Pennsylvania will be in his hands as well. And I don't know if your listeners have seen what's going on in Pennsylvania today, but what's going on in Philadelphia right now is a disaster. So let's hope that for everyone's sake, that Pennsylvania does not end up being the deciding factor, because this will be in the courts for God knows how long.
Interesting. Seth, by the way, actually the New York Times right now saying that Florida and Georgia very much so leaning towards Donald Trump, saying Georgia tilting to Trump, in Florida, pretty likely Trump. Seth Weathers, thank you. Listen, I'd love to come back to you a little bit later, especially as you get more of those Georgia numbers in, and we'll see what we get out of Pennsylvania and Ohio as their polls wrap up in due time as well. And I'd remind you listening right now here in Florida, or streaming us to listen to a little bit about Florida, we still have the Panhandle to get through. Their polls will close at 8. And Seth, Seth, in Florida, the further north you go, the further south you get, reflecting a lot of southern Georgia. Yeah, exactly. And we hope to join you a little bit later. Find Seth on Twitter, @Seth Weathers. We'll be back to you later tonight, all right, my man?
Take care. Talk to you guys then when we're talking about a victory.
Thanks, bud. I hope so. We're also going to be having joining us over the next hour plus. We're going to have Ford O'Connell, Seb Gorka, Trish Regan, and more. Really quick, if I could, there's just really one important thing I wanted to perhaps you show our listeners about why Florida is now looking more like Donald Trump. John Cassio in studio with us. Those Miami-Dade numbers, this is something Drew and I were talking about, what we've referred to as the hidden vote. And I have been saying time and time again that part of Donald Trump's win is going to rely on Miami-Dade, deep blue Miami-Dade, because Cuban Americans, Venezuela Americans, Colombian Americans, Argentinian Americans, they may not think, they're certainly not saying Joe Biden's a communist. Joe Biden's not even a socialist. He's a moderate at best. But they see the direction the Democratic Party is going to. These are Hispanics who have real-life experience from either their bloodlines, their grandparents and parents, with socialism and what it becomes. And when they hear the word even democratic socialism, oh, the nice kind of socialism, hell no. They don't buy into that. What's happening in Miami-Dade, and compare it to 16 for me.
Yeah, so all night I'm scouring social media, Twitter, and all kinds of social media
you're
platforms.
Scouring, all right.
I'm scouring. I got phones, I got computers, I got everything. So here's a report out of Miami. Miami-Dade early vote results. Biden 54, Trump 45. That's 1 million ballots right now. It's important because, as you were saying, Trey, in 2016, early voting in that county had Clinton at 64 and Trump at 34. Right now, it's 54 Biden.
It's
45 Trump.
He cut 20% advantage for Donald Trump in Miami-Dade.
I'm also looking at Noah Rothman on Twitter, who put out just a little while ago that Trump only got less than 334,000 votes in Miami-Dade in 2016. Already, with 84% of the vote in this year, he's drawn over 457,000 votes.
Unbelievable.
So those numbers are coming in.
Actually, very believable.
Yeah, it is. And here's something that, if you want to go from the believable to the unbelievable, by the way, there's a Reince Priebus sighting. Look at that on CBS. Who knew? I got questions about that guy. Sorry. Here's something. Can somebody explain why AP is now calling Joe Biden the winner in Virginia when Trump is up by 8% right now and there's less than 10% reporting in?
Yes, the Virginia stuff is very weird.
No, all of this is very weird. And look, and I know that. See, Trey is the sensible. He's the data guy. He's the numbers. He understands the game and how it's played, and he knows the districts and the areas and everything else. I look at this and I say, why are they doing this early? It's almost as if they're telling people not to bother to worry anymore. If you were planning on. If you thought there was a chance here, there's no chance to discourage people in other areas of the country that may be hearing news of states like Virginia going down and siding with Biden. I worry about that kind of discussion. When I look at the 8,000 people, 8,000 votes in total, and they give the state of Vermont to Joe Biden, I appreciate the fact that you're breaking down county by county, and you can look and say, oh, there's no way. We already know what the numbers are. There's no way that Trump is going to win this. But my goodness, when you start making calls that early, and AP is doing this,
yeah, I mean,
I worry about I worry about the bias.
Yeah, and so they've called U.S. Senate results and the presidential results for both of the Democrats, both of which are losing. Okay. So
what's going on?
Well, what the theory is behind that is that all of the red districts, counties of Virginia, rural Virginia,
have already been counted.
They're just never going to be able to overcome and this is the craziest part about Virginia, is Virginia has changed so much and become pretty much a deep blue state right now. It used to be, it was purple. It actually went very quickly from red to purple to now deep blue. And the reason why is because Virginia is a giant suburb of Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
All of the money that has flooded our government for so long, the governmental spending, when you look at the Obama years, when Washington, D.C., do you know that in the 8 years that Obama was president, you could watch the wealthiest counties quickly move up? There were always these counties in New York, outside of New York City, basically Westchester and others. California, obviously Silicon Valley. You had some other spots, maybe one in Chicago. And I believe it's 3 of the top 5 wealthiest counties in the United States of America are all outside of Washington, D.C. And what that means is you've got people who either want Democrats in power because of the incremental spending that comes with every single year that Democrats are in power, and they end up voting that way. And again, I do believe that in many large cities in the United States, you tend to have groupthink, and D.C. is not, any exemption from that.
Yeah, the only reason why this year it frustrates me more than ever is because you can see where this year could possibly be different, because how many Democrats out there are secretly voting, let's say, for Donald Trump, or how many people, the independent number. I mean, I don't. There are different dynamics that you would look at and say this year is not a typical year. So why would you call a race like a typical year?
Well, they sure as hell wouldn't for Trump.
Right,
if he would have won.
Exactly. Or a Republican. Would they call a Republican early if he was losing?
Yep.
And that's what's frustrating, is that the only reason why you feel like they would do that is because they're trying to influence individuals who may go out later.
Yep.
And that's, yeah.
I want to get local for a second. The city of Fort Myers, 10 of 12 precincts reporting, and Kevin Anderson has a pretty sizable lead over Jacqueline McMiller, 53% to 46%. And with only 2 precincts to go, I don't know if I can. Let me see how much I can whittle down what precincts are left here to remain voting. But Anderson has a fairly commanding lead. We'll see when these last 2 come in of this. Let's see here. Here's one that's not reporting. So we'll see. Kevin Anderson leading that race for the city of Fort Myers. I do not believe a local station has called that quite yet. And then the other mayoral race we have is in Bonita Springs. That one a little closer here. Steinmeier up over Dror, 52% to 47%. That's it, 12 of 12 reporting. Your next Bonita Springs mayor is Rick Steinmeier, according to the Lee County supervisor of elections website right now. Rick Steinmeier winning City of Bonita Springs over Omer Dror. What else you seen out there?
Mitch McConnell has won in Kentucky, which was a waste of money for the Democrats, right? Would they throw around $75 million?
Seth Weathers is one of these guys too that always says the same thing. Like every time we're told that that Georgia's going to go blue, Texas is going to go blue, Beto O'Rourke is going to win the Senate versus Ted Cruz, and it just never shapes up that way, does it?
Nope. I forgot to ask if the governor of what the governor of Georgia, Stacey Abrams, thinks today.
I wonder where she's at on all of this.
So let's see. I'm looking at some of with 103 of 112 precincts reporting. Byron Donalds up 59 to 40.
Let me go to Ohio. Looks like some Ohio numbers are coming in right now.
Oh, all right, go.
If you give me just a second, I'm going to try to go to the state right now and take a look at what's reporting. Okay. This appears good for Donald Trump right now. Joe Biden leading in Ohio, but you got to remember, again, what we're looking at are early votes that are coming in. And being born and raised in Ohio, I can't say it. I know it nearly as well as I do actually politically here in Florida, but fairly well. The Cleveland area has a boatload of people who are responding right now, putting Biden up with a slight lead, but it's really not that much. There's a whole lot of areas that will be red coming in for Donald Trump at this point, though Joe Biden leading slightly. But again, that's because you have early numbers coming out of the region of Cleveland in the northeastern part of Ohio. Looking at other states.
Yeah, can I just jump in real quick? The New York Times has, kind of a gauge on everything going on right now, and it fluctuates all through the night. And right now, it has Donald Trump at a 95% chance of winning the state of Florida.
Yep.
So
Miami-Dade.
So
that's unbelievable.
If you're wondering why, here's who is this? Gabe Fleischer is on his Twitter account. He says, if you're wondering why, the Times also shows an 11-point swing towards Trump in Cuban neighborhoods so far.
Yep.
You said it. That's what you said.
And you've got, here, even in Southwest Florida, we have a substantial amount of the population that may have, a last name like Juarez, Suarez, this or that don't even speak Spanish, but they are Cuban lineage people, sons and daughters of the mothers and fathers and grandma and grandpa who came from Cuba. And the family says, this is real to us. We see what's happening with this Democratic Party, and we want no part of it. Now,
we've seen this movie before.
Exactly. We had a caller on just about an hour ago that streams us from Tampa and said he's from Venezuela. And everybody always kept saying in Venezuela, can't happen to us, can't happen to us. And it did. They always said, we're not a tiny island nation like Cuba where that can just happen. And we're looking at a sizable, physically large country with a diverse population where, one thing happens, it leads to another, where you've got a populist movement on behalf of Hugo Chavez saying that we're going to bring back the Bolivarian Revolution and all these pretty terms about we're going to make everybody equal, i.e. Kamala Harris's last video that you saw, Drew.
Communist.
Everybody's going to be equal and it's all going to be great. We're going to help the poor, and they've all seen it before. And that is what is winning Florida for Donald Trump. This is an excellent sign that these numbers are coming out like they are in the state of Florida for Donald Trump. And I'm very curious to see now as we move on to these critical states that he's going to need, including Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin's looking tough, but others. What do we want to do here? Do we need to take a break?
Take a break? Yeah.
All right, so we got a couple of minutes here. We'll try to get Ford O'Connell on the line. I think he might be listening to us right now. I haven't even sent him a a little text here, but we're going to have Ford O'Connell on maybe. We'll try to get Ford O'Connell at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. Also in the 8 o'clock hour, Seb Gorka. 9 o'clock hour, Trish Regan. How you feeling, Drew?
I feel I feel a little better as I'm looking at the numbers in Florida, but I'm looking on my Twitter feed here, and I'm getting a little worried.
All right. So for those of us who don't follow it like you two do, okay? So
do we have time for you to do this?
Oh, go for it.
Real quick. I'll try to do it real quick. Okay.
No, I know you. That's why I'm worried about the quick. I'm worried about
funny.
Yeah.
Trump wins Florida. Okay. Say he wins Florida, which we're expecting now.
Hopefully.
Now, where do we need to be looking after this? Is it
After
now
Florida?
just Pennsylvania and he holds on to everything that he did in 2016? Or is there somewhere else that he needs to say, I need this state?
So there are 4 critical states after this that in our time zone or close to it. Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin. Wisconsin's the toughest of them all. Everything else is in the margin of error. I get a little confident, if not cocky, about Ohio. I think that Trump is going to win Ohio. So he won Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin. He can lose Michigan and Wisconsin. If he gets Pennsylvania and then moving west, keeps Arizona, he wins.
That's it.
So Pennsylvania and Arizona, I think, are 2 really important states to look at tonight. But if we get Pennsylvania and Michigan, again, I'm saying Ohio's done. I hope. But if he gets Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Michigan, it becomes really difficult for Joe Biden.
But the problem with Pennsylvania is because of all the shenanigans, we put it politely, he would have to have quite a substantial lead in the next 3 days as we have to wait for all these ballots to come in. Nate Silver is saying what we know so far. Trump looks good in Florida. Beyond that, not much. Now, I might agree with him on this point where he says Trump's overperformance versus polls in 2016 in Florida looks mostly to be concentrated among Cubans, which may not tell us about other states. He's not really wrong about that.
Valid point. Absolutely.
I'll take that.
This is 92.5 Fox News. Trey Radel alongside Ian, John, Katrina, and our man Drew Steele on every morning at 6 a.m. We'll be right back.
92.5 Fox News.
See, I like state-of-the-art. I like equipment, for example, to test your water like Pentair uses. There's a big difference. When Max comes over and tests your water, they use Pentair's more scientific equipment instead of that old-fashioned chemical way, which means you get better results. And the Pentair salt-free combo has a lot more advantages. It's the one that I have. It's practically maintenance-free. Just pop in a new filter each year, and it's easy. There's no lugging in bags of salt every month, and no timers, no electricity, no saltwater waste, no hassles. And Pentair's salt-free smart combo means you won't be putting in dangerous sodium into that water as well. So if you've got problems with your water in your home, smells bad, tastes bad, call now for your free Pentair water test. Call Max. He's your local Pentair water specialist. He can show you exactly what's in your home's water with their new white glove service program. They can even maintain the system for you. And right now, take $199 off installation of your whole home water system. So call them today, 239-880-7799. That's 239-880-7799. Call today.
I wish people would learn to come in sooner. Unfortunately, by the time they come in our stores, they're almost desperate. They've been struggling trying to find a solution for their problem. They're looking with hope in their eyes. You've got to be able to help me.
You're listening to Beth, an arch support specialist at the Good Feet store.
A construction guy comes in and told me, I'm afraid I'm going to get fired. My feet hurt so bad, I can't do what I need to do at work. You gotta help me. It's unbelievable how quickly the product changes some things for some people.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people live the life they love without letting their feet get in the way.
When you're able to help them work more efficiently, more comfortably, and they're back and doing things that they've been wanting to do, things that they've missed. I go home every day proud of what I've done.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Call 552-FEET or visit us in Naples or our newest store in Fort Myers.
92.5 WFSX Estero. It's 8 o'clock on Southwest Florida's news and talk station, 92.5 Fox News.
From Southwest Florida's news leader, this is a Wink News Update.
I'm Russ McCaskey with Wink News.
The voter turnout for this election is high. Lee County surpassed the 2016 turnout by 50,000 people. The same goes for Collier County. The county surpassed the turnout in the 2016 election by more than 27,000 votes as of 3 this afternoon. All hands on deck for election security officials today. U.S. Cyber Command is expanding its operations to try and identify Russian, Iranian, and Chinese hackers. Election offices are confident that vote counting and certification systems are secure. Campaign Central team coverage begins on Wink News at 7. As the polls close, you can also follow the results with us on the Wink News app. Trust Wink News, Southwest Florida's news leader.
You should be driving a Kia from Galliana Kia.
It's our November clearance event at Galliana Kia in Fort Myers. Every new Kia available with no money down and no payments till February 2021. Select models with no interest financing for 75 months. And exclusive of that offer, 2020 Kia Forte LXS lease, $49 per month. That's right, $49 per month for a new car. 2020 Kia Rio LX, just $13,990. New Kia Sorento LX V6, $8,000 off. Plus, at Galliana Kia in Fort Myers, if you've got $500 down and you make at least $2,000 per month, our lenders can get you approved.
You should be driving a Kia from Galliana Kia.
Galliana Kia, 1/2 mile south of Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day, including Sunday. Call 239-481-2600. GallianaCars.com.
24 month lease, 12,000 miles per year, $39.99 due at sign plus tax, tag, title, dealer, and acquisition fee. Zero security deposit with lender approval expires month end.
If you struggle using CPAP, it can leave you feeling tired. Forgetful.
Who put this banana in the toaster?
You did?
Cool, okay, just checking.
And even impact your health. Fortunately, now there's Inspire, a sleep apnea treatment that works inside your body with just the click of a remote. That's right, a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
When you think RV, think La Mesa RV. Our everyday low price is posted on every RV. Top brands like Winnebago, Fleetwood, and Integra. From sporty Mercedes-powered motorhomes to luxury diesel pushers, every RV in stock is discounted. If you've been thinking about the RV lifestyle, think La Mesa RV. I-75 at Luckett Road in Fort Myers or lamesarv.com.
This is 92.5 Fox News. It's democracy's biggest night, election night. The 2020 vote. 92.5 Fox News has it covered top to bottom. There's more than the White House up for grabs. There are congressional seats, state seats, judicial seats, local seats, local issues, and more. Who wins, who loses, and how does it affect you? Buckle up, we're in for quite a ride. This is 92.5 Fox News' Election Night 2020 with Drew Steele. Here's Trey Radel.
Ford O'Connell joining us now for the kickoff of this 8 o'clock hour. Ford, my man, it is fantastic to have you on. Ford, you have, you're a Trump White House surrogate. You have been watching what's been happening in Florida and in the very critical states that we've been talking about, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin. Let's start in Florida. You feeling good, man?
I'm feeling very good, Trey. In fact, I would actually say that Donald Trump has pretty much sewn up Florida, and that's very, very important. And let me bring in something that Drew said earlier. Drew was talking about Maximo Alvarez and saying that there's no place other to go because of Marxism and socialism the Democrats are promoting, and that's exactly what has happened in Florida. Cubans, particularly in Miami-Dade County, have come home to Donald Trump. Right now, he's about down by 8 points in Miami-Dade. But to put that in perspective, he lost it by more than 20 in 2016. He's going to surpass what he did in Florida in 2016 in 2020. What's also heartening for Donald Trump is that seniors appear to be coming home to him, particularly in Sumter County, and that's a good sign when we turn our eyes towards Georgia and North Carolina.
So, yeah, look, I am very happy to see what's happening in Miami-Dade. I mean, I've been talking for a week about how just if you really want to understand the effects of socialism, and my gosh, I don't even want to make this, about political talking points. I know that we have Democrats listening right now who just want to hear numbers and who want to understand what's happening. What's happening in Miami-Dade are people who have had tangible experiences in Cuba, Venezuela, and other parts of Latin America as neighbors of these countries, and they are rejecting the Democratic Party. It's not so much even about Joe Biden. They are rejecting the Democratic Party and doing so in enormous ways. Drew, you had brought up a great point, though, that we're unique here in Florida with specifically the Hispanic population. This may not signify what's going to happen in any of these swing states. Drew, Ford, I'd ask you both to, kind of comment on that and what you see moving forward.
Well, on the bigger picture that I brought up earlier, maybe Ford can comment on this as well, is the fact that when I brought up Maximo Alvarez, I didn't only bring what his comment was about there's no place else to go, and the passion and, of course, understanding what socialism looks like, and Cuban Americans and Venezuelans who clearly get it. They understand. And like you said, Trey, it's tangible. But on the other side of that is also the macro, right? The micro here is the state of Florida and South Florida and Miami-Dade, Broward. The macro is the rest of the country that we hope and pray is going to look in the same way and say, there'll be no place else to go if we accept a Joe Biden presidency that ultimately will be a communist Kamala Harris presidency. Yeah, I said it because of some of the things that she's put out in the past 24, 48 hours. And ultimately, what that will look like for this country, you want to talk about fundamentally changing. The road has already been paved by one Barack Obama, but now there are people on that road heading in that direction. And so hopefully the rest of the country sees that same thing as well, where, look, we can't have this. There's no place else to go if not for the constitutional republic that we are, Ford.
Hey, yeah, please go.
What I was going to say is I absolutely see where Drew's going. I think he's absolutely right about it. But Florida's a little bit different. We have elections every 2 years. So after a while, people start to understand what greater government control means, more redistribution and political censorship. That is something that we can hold on to in Florida. And to Drew's point, I hope Drew's absolutely right and it spreads to the rest of the country, particularly in Georgia and in North Carolina, because those are must-win states for the president. I will tell you that if he wins those three states, okay, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, we are literally down to Arizona and Pennsylvania. And what's going to be important for Pennsylvania, particularly the white working class voter, is does the Ohio River light up red? If we couldn't call Ohio and Iowa early for Trump, I'm loving where we're standing in the proverbial Rust Belt.
By the way, this just in, Stacey Abrams still not the governor of the state of Georgia. Just double checking on Just sorry.
To either Ford or John Cassio, John in studio with us as well. Ford, though there are two congressional seats over in Miami-Dade in that area of South Florida. What do you got?
I'm applauding you about what you're about to say. This is exciting.
Where Republicans are leading. Now, these are two seats. So let me just kind of recap. There's Donna Shalala, which, oh my God, I'm having a total brain fart right here live on the air.
Oh, no, don't look. If you're on YouTube, don't look.
There was a Republican. Yeah, there's the gas exiting my ears right now. My God, I consider her a dear friend, too. So Republican had that seat. Donna Shalala with the Clinton administration takes it over. But it was never expected to go back to a Republican. And right now, a Republican is leading Shalala, and that is Salazar. She was a media personality in South Florida for many years, and she is leading there. And again, this is a lot of this, I believe, is what happens, Ford. You can further explain when I get to the second race of what happens when a Republican begins leading up ballot. You get the down ballot effect, and we see that happening in South Florida with not only Donald Trump, but the Cuban vote that has come out so strong for Republicans. Then the other race is Mercosur Powell, a Democrat who won it from Carlos Curbelo, who was a Republican. You see how these things shift and switch and change. And right now, Jimenez is leading. So you've got right now, Republicans, two very important congressional seats could flip to red. Let me finalize all of this with why that's so very important tonight. If there is a tie in the Electoral College, which is a possibility, if there is a tie, it is decided in the U.S. House of Representatives. Each state gets a vote, but they vote based on the delegation within that state. It was a concern at some time that Florida could end up with one more Democrat than Republicans. If we stay in this trend tonight, Republicans will have full control of the state of Florida, meaning they would have one vote for Donald Trump if this were to go to a tie and be decided in the House of Representatives, because it would be the next Congress that decides that. Ford, your take again on South Florida overall, and John Cassio, any new numbers? No, we've got it. Go ahead, Ford.
I'm absolutely impressed about what's happened in Miami-Dade, and it really shows that outreach that Donald Trump had to Cubans and Venezuelans in particular, and making sure that he made the necessary touches. And if I have to throw someone else in there who deserves a lot of credit for what's taking place right now, that's Mercedes Schlapp. So between the two of them, that was an impressive poll. And if that does occur and we do pick up those two House seats, to your point, Trey, and we do get to the dreaded 269 in the United States House of Representatives, Florida is going to go for Donald Trump.
Yep. Yeah.
Ileana Ros-Lehtinen.
Thank you, Illy. Yeah. Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, then Shalala. So Ileana Ros-Lehtinen retires from Congress, and it was a loss in the House. Kevin McCarthy was very worried on that we're never going to be able to get this seat back. And again, we don't know any answers right now, but every trend in the state of Florida right now looking very good for Donald Trump and possibly for the congressional delegation. What you guys seeing?
I'm watching CBS right now as they're showing Miami-Dade Broward, and they're like, look, Clinton was 63-34. Right now it's 53-45 Biden. They're like, what happened to Miami-Dade Broward? Look at that. Yeah, so they see what we see.
Yep.
Well, Drew, there's one even better. You've already got Nate Silver already making excuses for the Biden campaign of the Democratic Party, trying to say this explosion potentially, if things stay where they are in Florida, may not mean much for the rest of the map because, well, it's Cubans and Venezuelans, and therefore that's its own unique group.
Yeah.
At some point, does somebody say to Nate, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks.
No, listen.
Like, we're done. We're done. Thanks, Nate. We appreciate it, but now we're going to move on.
Who was it? Was it you that I had the conversation with? We already talked about the fact that today that, listen, when it comes to the pollsters, they're going to be back for good. They're not going, if they're as wrong as they could be, it's like a baseball player going 1 for 3 every time he's up at bat and he's in the
Hall of Fame.
He's in the Hall of Fame, right? But that's all you got to do. Once in a while, you got to throw me a bone, get it right. The rest of the time, we'll let the mistakes pass.
Yep. By the way, looking, the latest numbers do have those 2 congressional seats over in the Miami-Dade area. You've got the 2 Republicans leading, which is just, again, to go to the polls, by the way, the Republicans were getting their clocks clean. They were getting destroyed. Yeah. And we're within the margin of error with them, but it's good stuff and very impressive to see. Ford, as we move on and look, you've got, I believe, some numbers are coming into Pennsylvania and more. What are you seeing, and is there any way to gauge anything at all that's coming in from Pennsylvania or Ohio right now?
It's very hard to gauge what's coming in from Pennsylvania just because of the divide between Philadelphia proper on the east side of Pennsylvania and Allegheny County where Pittsburgh is. But what I would tell you is look at Ohio and Iowa. If Ohio and Iowa are called early for Donald Trump, that is a great sign for Pennsylvania because what we're talking about is a cultural demographic linkage across the industrial Midwest. So, again, if Iowa goes Trump big, and Ohio goes Trump big, then that is a great sign for Donald Trump. In fact, such so, without getting into it, the international bettors have now made this an even race between Donald John Trump and Joe Biden. And that is absolutely astounding. John Cassio will know about this. It was minus 220 this morning, and I was texting you, Trey, at about 5:45, and literally I had to go outside and run and bang because I was going to bang my head against the table because I was so worried about what's going on. I'm feeling good, but we need to keep moving forward. And on top of it, Arizona is starting to seem like it may break in our favor as well.
So I'm looking at Ohio right now, and the areas that are typically blue are blue. And the early results right now, very early fraction of votes coming in, have Joe Biden up 56 to 42. But I got to say, though, this is with all of the major cities reporting right now. I'm looking at Cleveland. I am looking at Columbus. And all that's missing is Cincinnati, my hometown. Which is Hamilton. You know, they always say, however Hamilton County goes, where Cincinnati is how the president goes. That has not been decided yet. However, it is a very positive sign in the state of Ohio that Joe Biden is not, just swamping Donald Trump, that there's still a whole lot of red to get out in Ohio. We'll see how Hamilton County, specifically where the city of Cincinnati is, goes. But again, Cleveland, Columbus, Youngstown, and Toledo are all in, and it's not a huge lead for Joe Biden, even with those major metropolitan areas in.
No, it's not a huge lead. And what I'll say about that is if there was one state among the proverbial battleground states that the Trump campaign felt most strongly about was the state of Ohio, because I can just give you some internal conversations. The president would constantly ask how Ohio is going, and John McLaughlin would say, you're pretty good in Ohio. Now, if you want to go make a touch, that's a great idea, but you don't have to, because Ohio is going to most likely come home to Donald Trump. And in fact, if you look at the pollsters who kind of were ostracized for making bullish Trump picks, like the guys over at Trafalgar and the guys at Insider Advantage, Matt Towery, they both felt the same way about Ohio.
Hey, you got at least one organization, Decision Desk Headquarters, calling Donald Trump wins the state of Florida. And I believe that given everything that us Floridians know, between us sitting here, Drew Steele, Trey Radel, Ford O'Connell on the line with us, John Cassio in studio with us, I think it's safe to say that Florida is Donald Trump's. John, what do you see?
And just real quick, I just wanted to follow up on the Nate Silver talk that we had earlier. Nate Silver had Donald Trump's chances of winning the state of Florida at 31%.
Going into play some FIFA soccer instead of.
That was good. Keep going. Gives us something to talk about every year.
I know.
Gives us something to laugh about.
So just remember that. According to Nate Silver, Donald Trump had a 31% chance to win the state of Florida.
Republican Bill Hagerty won the seat in Tennessee, the Senate seat. So that's a pickup.
That was repeat that for me?
Hagerty in Tennessee wins the election to the U.S. Senate from Tennessee.
I'm curious what happens. By the way, Ford, do you know what's up with the dude in Alabama, the fluke, the Democrat who won? Who was that? Doug?
That's Doug Jones.
Yeah, he's done, right?
Doug Jones. He's done. Tommy Tuberville hasn't run a great campaign, the former Auburn coach. He's going to run over him like a steamroller.
Yeah. Yep. So where we're at right now, by the way, did we expect Maine to break for Donald Trump?
Yes.
We did?
We did. Well, no, I don't, I'm, but no, but seriously, did it? Is it?
No, what I'm talking about is Trey and I discussed before that are split congressional districts. We are expecting Maine 2 to go for Donald Trump.
Okay.
And if Maine 2 does, the better Susan Collins runs in that Senate race, the better chance Donald Trump has of picking up that Maine 2 single electoral vote, which of course becomes very, very important, because the one thing we are slightly concerned about is a single electoral vote outside of Omaha, Nebraska, which is why, as you know, the president was there last week.
Yep.
Just another organization, the Blaze, is calling Florida for Donald Trump.
Yeah. Man, it is 8:19 at night.
So, okay, great. I'm glad you said that. So what's that mean?
We can go home now.
What's
Good night, everybody. Is that what?
Get some pizza.
No.
Get some pizza.
Where's the food?
Thanks to the big man upstairs. Yeah. What's that mean? It's 8:19, right? Are we in for an early night? Is this
no?
Does this say anything from where we're at?
No. I agree with Drew, Ford, even Nate. Some of y'all have talked about it that we do have an anomaly, which is the very specific type of Hispanic population here in the state of Florida. Which, if you're just joining us, I want to reiterate that it's crazy, but deep blue Miami-Dade has just helped Donald Trump win the state of Florida. I mean, I don't even think we have any results from the Panhandle yet. And typically where we're at is, the Panhandle is going to save the Republican, and we're already here. But again, that is because of what I believe is a full-throated and shown through voting a complete rejection of the Democratic Party and the path that the Democratic Party has gone down. That, though, again, I think is reflected heavily in the Cuban-American vote and to a lesser extent, many of the other newer immigrants that have come from Latin America, Venezuela, Argentina, Colombia, and more. But, if you look at, these are Democrats who are voting for Donald Trump. Let me be clear about that. And let's try and extrapolate that to a very culturally very different Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin. I mean, I always try not to live in my echo chamber, right? And here on 92.5 Fox News, we've got a lot of people who we could say, hey, maybe we'd spend a little too much time in our echo chamber. We got people who are calling yesterday and saying Donald Trump's going to win California. You have to be out of your mind and disconnected with reality to think Donald Trump is going to win the state of California. But let me try to do it this way. Like, if you've got a Democrat in Broward County, Miami-Dade County, even if Cuban-American, whatever, but these are Democrats who are saying, I don't like the direction of this party. And maybe it's based on political preferences. The word when you throw out communism, socialism, and whatnot. What about the Democratic voter in Pennsylvania that hears let's even take Joe Biden out of the equation, very much how I think he was out of the equation in Miami-Dade, and it's about the party. And they look at that party, and they say in Pennsylvania, they're going to destroy our jobs, they're going to absolutely ban fracking, and we're not going to have an economy. We've been down this road before when we see what extremist environmentalists do. I think that they're going to see some of the same similar strains in the Democratic Party as some of those Democratic voters in deep blue Miami-Dade do of their party. And I think you could say the same in Ohio, of whether it's about fracking or whether it's about the violence throughout all of our cities that we've seen, places being the rioting, the looting, people boarding up. They know that these aren't Trump supporters. They know that these aren't conservatives or Republicans. These are Democrats who have lost their friggin' mind because of bad orange man. And if you could visualize, think about Democrats that may think that way. I just do think that once again, I keep coming back to this theory that there is an even larger built-in hidden vote percentage for Donald Trump this cycle than last cycle, and Miami-Dade just showed us that.
Trey, I'd throw in one more caveat to that. I look at this also as between the states that opened up and didn't open up because of the leadership there. I would be I'm a little unhappy that the states that didn't open up, the voters aren't more, how should we say, pissed.
Yep.
But the states that opened up seem to be coming home to Donald Trump in droves. And again, I'm looking at the early numbers. I'm seeing Georgia, and Georgia's looking good for Trump, partially because of its linkage to Florida. But also when I look at North Carolina, it scares me a little bit. Trump should win it. But I have a Democratic governor who's playing around with the votes, and I've got a Democratic governor who decided that, you know what, let my people starve because somehow I'm going to test and mask this virus away. And I think that what's happened is in the states that have opened up, people have tasted freedom. And once they have that freedom, they don't want to go backwards.
Yep.
And I think that if North Carolina opened up and Arizona, even though the governor tried, opened up to the extent that Florida opened up and they'd handled it in the way that Ron DeSantis had, I wouldn't even be worried about Arizona because Arizona is so close to Nevada, they know exactly what closing down means.
Yeah, I'm worried about these early calls, some of them. Phil Kerpen, Trump only down by 9 points in the first Fairfax print. Are we sure that Virginia should have been called? That's what he's saying. And he's right. Well, people are looking at some of the numbers, and right now, for example, in Virginia 7, Freitas is up by 20 points. In the polls, he was down 2. And how are you making calls right now in Virginia?
I'm glad you said that because I was looking for numbers to bring up to you guys. But, Trey, to your point before about Northern Virginia being essentially the outskirts of D.C. right now, that this Miami effect, if you will, is happening in Northern Virginia as well, where he has gained some traction in that Northern Virginia area as well.
If they end up retracting this, like the 2000 debacle,
it'll be delicious. That's the word I would use.
It'll be, if we win Virginia, it's over, gentlemen. But to John's point, I don't think we're going to win Virginia. And it's not because certain people aren't saying, hey, I want freedom. We've all spent time up there. What's happened is the government's become so large in Northern Virginia, and Northern Virginia itself, outside of some of its schools, has widely been open till 2 o'clock in the morning. It has been Southern Virginia, Richmond area. That is who is pissed off about it, and that's why Nick Freitas, he wasn't the best candidate. He was a much better conservative than the other gentleman who he beat in the primary. But if he could knock Spamberger off, that would be fantastic, because I've got a lot of friends in Richmond who literally call me and scream every day about this because they can't send their kids to kindergarten.
And I love Ford's use of the word freedom tonight. We need that Braveheart clip about freedom.
That's the one that you and I tweet back and forth.
There you go.
I'm looking at Ohio numbers.
Yeah.
You see some of these?
Yeah, I mean, we're still so early, but Michigan right now is leaning red, and Ohio's leaning blue. And Michigan, to go to your point, Ford, of the people who've been on lockdown, I even asked Rudy Giuliani last night, I said, do you get a sense, like in New York City, where Rudy is based out of, his state and his city have been under the strictest lockdown measures of some in the country, maybe outside of California with crazy Newsom there. And I had wondered out loud when we begin theorizing all of these, again, hidden votes that are just not being tallied by polls, if there would be a complete rejection of Democratic rule of someone like a Governor Whitmer in Michigan. Rudy seemed to think that yes, people are rejecting it. It goes with what you've been saying, Ford, that there's people who are angry that don't want to. Their jobs have been lost. They've been locked in their homes. Whitmer has told people they can't even travel to their other homes. That right now is shaded red. Again, very small percentage voting right now. But Ohio, which has a Republican governor who's been a little bit more, and I'm not using this word in the political sense, but a little bit more liberal than Michigan, right now is leaning a little blue. And let's see here. Actually, Cincinnati's come in. Hamilton County goes blue. That bothers me very, very much. Damn. That I'm looking right now. Yeah, Hamilton County. The theory always is, this is where I was born and raised. Hamilton County is a bellwether county, and Joe Biden leading very large there right now.
Can I jump in on an update
Please.
for North Carolina as we go back to the New York Times election needle, which has been pretty accurate tonight.
Oh, good. This is good.
No.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm freaking out.
I was about to make the same point I was going to make. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. So for North Carolina, so the prediction needle started at 66% for Joe Biden. It is now down to 56%. So hopefully that's a good thing for Donald Trump.
Well, to your point, John, that's exactly right. If you win Florida, and Florida's going to start this roll. If we're going to win Georgia and North Carolina, it's going to be because of our home state here in Florida, but it's going to start that roll because, again, they're all demographically and culturally linked, particularly when you're looking at African-American men and the white working class. So on that front, right now, Georgia's looking good. It's early with the vote. Right now, the New York Times needle has it probably Trump, and because of that, North Carolina is tilting as well. The only thing that scares me about North Carolina is they got a little Broward thing going where they can count the votes, after the election.
North Carolina is like Pennsylvania in that way?
Yes, Trey, because you have a Democratic governor. See, what's happening in a lot of these Democratic governors, and this is the great travesty. Win or lose, God forbid Donald Trump loses, but win or lose, this is the great travesty. I have Democratic governors changing the rules of the state legislature literally as the game is being played. They're moving the goalposts. They moved the goalposts because they said, oh, my God, this is the airborne equivalent of Ebola. Don't leave your house. And then when they saw the Trump voters undeterred by this nonsense, they said, you know what? You got to go out and vote. This is the great sin that is really undermining democracy because the Democrats can never play by the rules. And in many cases, and in North Carolina with a Democratic governor, the rules they set up. That is just so insane. You do that in third world banana republics. You don't do that in the United States of America.
Yep. Ford, a huge thank you. We'd like to come back to you, too. We're here for a few more hours. We're going to have Seb Gorka on. You could follow Ford on Twitter at Ford O'Connell. Ford, my man, thank you, buddy.
You got it.
We'll talk again soon.
Gentlemen.
All right, Trey Radel here alongside Drew Steele. We'll be right back after this.
This is 92.5 Fox News. Blah, 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 blah. Gear up for the liberal loudmouths at work. Drew Steele, mornings on 92.5 Fox News.
Hello, I'm Dr. D'Amico. When going to the dentist, I know you have a lot of choices, but I would like to invite you to my office. We do cleanings and fillings, plus crowns, dentures, and implants, all in one location. So call me, Dr. D'Amico, for our new patient specials, 234-5284. That's 234-5284. Do you need a denture? Well, I have a denture lab on site, which means that you can have a new denture in just a few days. If you go anywhere else, it will take a few months. That's right, a few months to get your new denture. Do you need dental implants? If you need one implant or a full mouth of implants, don't just go to any dentist. Have your implants done by somebody who performs implant surgery every day. Do you already have an estimate for needed dental work? Don't have your dental work done without a second opinion, especially implant treatment. So call and ask for our radio specials for new patient exam, dentures, and especially implants. Don't regret not getting a second opinion. Call me, Dr. D'Amico. I want to help. 234-5284. That's 234-5284. License DN 15639.
If you struggle using CPAP, it can leave you feeling tired, forgetful,
Who put this banana in the toaster?
You did?
Cool, okay, just checking.
and even impact your health. Fortunately, now there's Inspire, a sleep apnea treatment that works inside your body with just the click of a remote. That's right, a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
As America's largest injury firm, we have advantages few others do. Our results and reputation are well known to the other side, and we have a track record of going toe-to-toe with them and winning big. But what does that mean for you? What does that mean for your case? I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One of the things we're most proud about is that we set up our firm so that your case gets lots of attention from a lot of people. Our technology and army of lawyers give us insight and oversight into every detail and every moment of your case. Paralegals, legal assistants, investigators, buildings with boxes of evidence. Every resource carefully designed to get you the most possible. And at Morgan & Morgan, we even have a dedicated team to make sure that your calls are returned that very same day. Injured? Dial pound law. That's pound 529. All law firms are not the same. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com.
Offices, Fort Myers and Naples.
If you have sleep apnea and struggle using CPAP, it can leave you feeling tired, irritable,
That's the cutest puppy I've ever seen.
fatigued,
Can someone please help me lift this tissue?
forgetful,
Who put this banana in the toaster?
You did?
Oh, yeah.
and even impact your long-term health. Fortunately, now there's Inspire, a sleep apnea treatment that works inside your body with just the click of a remote. That's right, a button. Inspire is a small device placed during a same-day outpatient procedure. Simply click the button on the Inspire remote before you fall asleep. As you sleep, Inspire keeps you breathing normally and sleeping peacefully. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Now is the time to get countertops at Rock Solid. Why Rock Solid? How about Rock Solid's unbelievable prices? Full slabs of quartz from $599, granite $499, and remnants as low as $150. Rock Solid's vast selection of the finest stone from around the world. Rock Solid's award-winning customer service and installation in about a week. Want the best new countertops for your kitchen? The choice is simple. Rock Solid.
Rock Solid. We don't stop at just countertops.
Movember. What an interesting way to look at men's health through the lens of a mustache. You can start off clean-shaven and then proceed to grow your mustache as a way to celebrate men actually talking about their health. Yeah, talking. When it comes to erectile dysfunction, talking is a great start. When you talk about it, you're one step closer to solving it. The next step? Metro Men's Health. Call us today and schedule your free evaluation, and let's talk about your ED and how you, like thousands of men, can achieve consistent, longer-lasting results with the new patent-pending technology called Linear Piezo Energy Protocol, allowing us to create treatment plans specifically to you. So this Movember, grow your mustache for men's health, and then let Metro Men's Health help you grow your relationship. Mention mustache and get your evaluation free, $150 value. Call Metro Men's Health and schedule your free evaluation at 239-599-9900, 239-599-9900, or metromenshealth.com.
If you struggle using CPAP, it can leave you feeling tired, forgetful,
Who put this banana in the toaster?
You did?
Cool, okay, just checking.
and even impact your health. Fortunately, now there's Inspire, a sleep apnea treatment that works inside your body with just the click of a remote. That's right, a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
We've got you covered. Coming and going.
Drew Steele mornings. Trey Radel on the drive home at 5.
92.5 Fox News.
Will I vote? Of course I will. I say I would because if I don't, I can't complain. I will complain because I'm going to vote.
It's your decision.
Trey Radel here on 92.5 Fox News alongside Drew Steele. Drew, who you can catch every morning from 6 to 9 a.m. right here on weekdays. John Cassio in studio with us right now. And we got a great guest on, Dr. Seb Gorka. You can go to sebgorka.com, find him on all social media at Seb Gorka. Seb, how are you, man?
I'm feeling good. I think somebody in your team just said they've called Florida for the boss, so I'm very excited.
So just really quick, as we both, as all of us here are Floridians and kind of nerdy Floridians, getting into the weeds about the data that we're seeing. Seb, you are an international man, and what we are seeing specifically in deep blue Miami-Dade is that people who have actual tangible experience, either having fled from Venezuela or Cuba, or have bloodlines that come from those countries or other parts of South America that have experienced people, dictators and whatnot, flirting with socialism, have absolutely rejected the Democratic Party. You know, you could talk to them individually and they may say, you know, I don't think Joe Biden is a communist, but his party sure as hell is. And we are seeing insane numbers come out for Donald Trump in deep blue Miami-Dade, which is going to win the state of Florida for him. But what we're worried about, and I'm curious if you could extrapolate that into states like that are culturally different, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, or Wisconsin.
Look, I think every state has to be dealt with in a sui generis, unique fashion, because that's the beauty of our republic. But there's a couple of major factors. Number one, in Miami specifically, in Florida, just a week ago, this Lincoln Project advertisement that was targeting the Hispanic community, the Cuban community, was a disgrace. This is a bunch of former fake Republicans like Steve Schmidt, like Rick Wilson, like Kellyanne Conway's husband, George Conway, who have taken millions and millions and millions of dollars from hard left-wing Silicon Valley oligarchs, and they ran an ad in Miami that called the president the new Castro and showed footage from the 1950s, unedited, unblurred footage of free Cubans being killed in firing squads, and they called the president this is so strange, a socialist authoritarian. Now, when you're targeting communities who either their parents or they themselves escaped real socialism, came here from Cuba, I'm sorry. Not only is that despicable, but it's going to backfire, number one. And secondly, and this goes to other states like Pennsylvania and elsewhere, not just Hispanic or Cuban minority communities, the BLM message is not popular, even amongst the black community. When you see shop owners, store owners lose their life's possession when that store is burned to the ground in Seattle, in Baltimore, or wherever it is, I think we're potentially seeing, look, it's an early time to call all of these things, but I think we're seeing potentially a massive boomerang effect for the Black Lives Matter movement.
Dr. Gorka, it's Drew Steele. So glad to hear from you this evening. And I have to tell you, I had a chance to go to your YouTube channel and watch you speaking to Sky News, and it was delightful. It was delicious. I don't know how many more words I could use. It was awesome.
Lovely.
Okay, I knew you would come up with one for me. In a lot of different ways. Two things that I want to make mention of, because I think it's important as we're going to talk about not only here on the national stage, but across the globe. The first thing is this. The Supreme Court decision on voting in Pennsylvania, a very dangerous one.
Yep.
I find it interesting that when the president was bringing that up in a tweet and was concerned about rampant and unchecked cheating, undermining the entire system of laws, what did Sky News decide to do? They default to, why would the president incite violence like this? How do you make that leap? How do you do that?
When you're a liar.
Okay. Well, there's that.
I mean, when you're a member of the legacy media. If you guys haven't seen it, I mean, Sky, if you think fake news is an American problem, watch my interview from this morning.
It was awesome.
1 a.m. with Sky News for 11 minutes. It was like a Billy Jim Acosta with a wig on. This woman from Sky News. and think about this. So, I mean, this is Candace Owens from the last night. She's a genius. Why is it? I'm in the nation's capital, guys. I'm in the capital of the greatest, most powerful nation the world has ever seen. You go downtown right now. You go to Georgetown. You go down to around the White House. All the significant stores, the CVS's, even the luxury stores, are boarded up. And I don't mean with cheap plywood. I mean construction lumber. And the store owners have daubed what on the plywood, on the lumber? Black Lives Matter. Now, why is that? Why is that? If the rioting, if the violence was from the right, from the so-called Shillabeth of the Proud Boys, whatever that is, then wouldn't you be painting the phrase MAGA onto the front of your stores to protect yourself? This is the shame. This is the despicable legacy of the last 4 years, that there's one party in America, and it's not the Republicans, that have normalized violence. From Maxine Waters saying, if you see a member of the cabinet in public, harass them. From Obama when he was president saying, if you've got Republican neighbors, get in their faces. This is the left today. The Democrat Party of our fathers, our grandfathers, Scoop Jackson, JFK, is dead, and they have become a radicalized, dangerous party.
Yeah, and I would encourage you, please go watch this video on YouTube, because when you watch the expression on Kay's face, there, I guess is her name from Sky News, when she brings up the Proud Boys, and then Dr. Gorka is like, tell me more about the Proud Boys, and she's no, you do it. They don't even know what they're talking about. It's and the thing that disgusts me so much is it has this flavor, this feel of somebody brought the world to this place. Where they hate this president so much, where they do things like this that as journalists, which they claim to be, a real journalist would never take that leap, would never do that. But because they are like the media here in this country, somebody had to set them on that path. You know what I mean? They had to put them there.
Yeah.
And I think we know who it is.
Look, let's be clear. Journalism is dead in America.
Yeah.
Journalism is dead. There's talk radio, and God bless the fact that we have people like Rush, like Mark, like Dennis, the big names of talk radio every day are providing the truth, the pushback on the propaganda. And apart from that, you name a big news organization, even Fox is kind of losing it. All you have today are just a handful of brave journalists, the Sarah Carters, the John Solomons, the James Rosens. We're talking of a nation of 320 million, and we can only name, half a dozen, maybe 10 real journalists in America. They have become propaganda mills. When we saw 4 years ago, I saved this tweet and I will forever save it. When the New York Times, the gray lady, in the month before the election says Hillary Clinton has a 91% chance of winning. No, not 81, not 71, not 61, a 91% chance of winning. When on the night of the election 4 years ago, the vaunted Huffington Post, oh, aren't we so cool? The Huffington Post says Donald Trump has a 2% chance of winning. You know that journalism is dead. God bless talk radio. That's all I have to say.
Hey, Seb, Trey Radel here. We've talked a lot about the hidden vote, and I believe that we just witnessed it here in the state of Florida again, referencing back to the deep blue Miami-Dade, where you saw basically Joe Biden lose a 20% amount of votes compared to Hillary Clinton, and God knows what it was compared to Obama. But all over the country, it kind of going back to what you've talked about the violence, what's been happening around the country. Do you think that when we look at our cities, the rioting, the looting, the violence, can President Trump convert some of the black vote? Or I would even say that as campaigns, bare-knuckle campaigns also are not too disappointed to see when the vote simply doesn't come out. It's not like Joe Biden is an inspirational figure for the black community in the United States like Barack Obama was. But when you tie all this together, the cities, the violence, and even the fear of, imagine wearing a MAGA hat and walking through the streets of Manhattan or Boston or Chicago, you're probably going to be assaulted. Do you think that there's more of a built-in hidden vote for Donald Trump this cycle compared to last in 2016?
Without question. Look, there's an organization called the Cato Institute. They're America's libertarian think tank. They're really not Trump supporters. And they did a big survey, 3-4 months ago, where they found that 62% of Americans are unprepared to talk about their political affiliation publicly. And why? Because most of them are conservatives, and they are afraid what will happen if they say they support President Trump. This is the age of cancel culture. This is when a boy who does nothing, a Catholic schoolboy who resists the provocation of racists and of provocateurs, gets called a white supremacist and then ends up successfully suing CNN for we don't know how many tens of millions.
Yep, this is the Covington Catholic kid, yep.
Catholic schoolboys. This is where we are today. This is the intimidation culture, and this is why it's so important to stand up to the bullies. This is the message of the great late Andrew Breitbart. You stand up to the bullies. And let's just be clear, if we're going to talk about race, let's be clear about records. There is one man in this race who's a bona fide racist, and it's not my boss, Donald Trump. Donald Trump is married to an immigrant. He's got incredible people from the minority community in his cabinet, including Dr. Ben Carson, who grew up in poverty, the son of a single mother. This man doesn't see color. I can testify for that. He is utterly, completely colorblind. On the other hand, you've got a guy called Joe Biden, who not only called black males predators, but said, I don't want my children growing up in a racial jungle. And then most egregious of all, and this is the thing that really disappoints me, it's as if Americans have forgotten it. There was a great man called Clarence Thomas who dared to get nominated to the highest court in the land. And he was put through an outrageous high-tech lynching. That's what Clarence Thomas called it, by a Senate committee that was led by none other than Joe Biden. And his sin, what was his egregious sin? That he dared to be a judge who was black and conservative. Joe Biden is a bigot is a racist and is on record. You can watch the video. You can hear the audio of calling his fellow Democrat segregationists members of Congress fine gentlemen. So let's keep the record straight. There is a racist, there is a bigot in this race, and his name is Joseph Robinette Biden.
If you don't vote for me, you ain't black, in Joe Biden's words. Same Joe Biden who had the insane audacity to call Barack Obama clean and articulate. This is my black friends.
You can't go to you can't go to 7-Eleven unless you've got an Indian accent.
Exactly.
Another one of his delightful quotes.
Yep.
No joke.
Well.
I was just going to ask real quick before we get going here. I'm looking at number one. I hate that they're calling a lot of these states early. I hate it. I hate it just because even if you want to try to play the counties out and you're trying to play those numbers and say that you know how this is going to go, I don't like that they call Virginia so early. I don't like that they're calling it only because of the rest of the country and what they would see and how that feeling of momentum changing or either way. I don't like that. But I'm also looking at some of the races in Virginia. How are we doing with the Senate race? Because the last I checked on the numbers in Virginia, I'm looking at Mark Warner, who is not the 800 to 638 Daniel Gade up on Mark Warner, although they feel like it's a safe seat. I mean, what are we looking at here?
That's so weird. Before I came on the show, I heard the local DC radio station say that Warner's won it, and I'd endorsed this great Iraqi war veteran, Daniel Gade, and I sent him a text and I said, nice college try, sorry, bud. And he texted me back immediately. What are you talking about? I'm up on Senator Warner, that swamp creature. So who knows? This is. Northern Virginia has become a real den of Democrat shenanigans. So let's just wait until we get some more fidelity on the data, because in lots of places, and I think Pennsylvania is going to be one of the key ones, a lot of suspicious activity in the last few days and weeks, and we have to keep a very beady eye on it all.
Yep, agreed.
There's chatter in social media right now that Virginia was called way too early.
That's what I'm saying. Ohio. People are saying, what's going on in Ohio? These numbers are changing by the minute. And people are saying, slow down, everybody. Ohio went late for Trump in 2016. If you're starting to look at Ohio and think all is lost, all is not lost yet.
No.
And I hate that the media is doing this. I hate that they're describing things as it's out of reach or making these early calls. When you've got a whole country that needs to stay in their line, if they are in line and they're getting ready to across this great country where there are more places, we have yet to make some decisions here to stay there, to vote, to make sure you're concentrating down ballot. There's a lot going on. I hate the shenanigans.
Do not get out of the line.
Yeah.
If you're in the line, it doesn't matter if the polling station officially closes, you will still get to vote. So wherever you are, stay in your line and vote.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Go to SebGorka.com. You can follow Seb on all social media at SebGorka. Huge thank you to you, bud. We really appreciate your time tonight.
God bless you guys. God bless the listeners.
God bless
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
Great to speak with Dr. Sebastian Gorka. It is it's awesome to watch fighters. It's great when you see the president, you see Seb Gorka, fearless, calling people out when they need to be called out.
I love that. You know what you were talking about too. They were asking. It's a great example of media asking about the Proud Boys, something like that. And you say to a journalist, "Who are the Proud Boys?" And they don't know.
The people on your street don't know, Trey. The people you walk down your street and you ask them what that's about, and nobody has a clue what you're talking about.
Yep.
And for them to bring this up and to try to make this drama, to manufacture this drama, is just part of this game.
Yep. Some local
sorry, I get worked
races to
Cassio gets all
call here. Mayor, Bonita Springs, your next mayor will be Rick Steinmeier. Fort Myers Mayor Kevin Anderson. It will be Kevin Anderson beating Jacqueline McMiller. We had Kevin Anderson on our show, and we invited Jacqueline McMiller several times, several different ways, through her website, texts, calls, and more. She wouldn't come on the show. Drew, in looking at that, this is the city of Fort Myers, one of the larger here in our region, and McMiller had a lot of money coming in from the Democratic institutions.
Act Blue?
Yeah, and it was... I don't know if any...
Cindy Bonnier had money coming in from Act Blue, I think, as well.
Yep. Yeah, like the McMiller-Anderson race. Again, look, I understand that a lot of you listening right now might not be residents of the city of Fort Myers, but it is very important to note that Democratic money came into the city of Fort Myers and pushed this to a 53 to 47% race. Now, in the city of Fort Myers, it is a nonpartisan race, but you know as well as I do how utterly ridiculous all of it is. You know, you can say, I'm super conservative. I love Donald Trump. This and that. You can have the Republican Party come out and say, we endorse this person. But you're not allowed to say I'm a Republican. It's a little dumb the way that these nonpartisan races work across Southwest Florida, but they are what they are. And you had a lot of money, a lot of liberal, deep blue money that came in for Jacqueline McMiller. And that's a pretty close race, separated by just about 2,000 votes. I'm very happy that Kevin Anderson is the winner. He will be the next Fort Myers mayor. With regards to Byron Donald, Cindy Bonnier running for Congressional District 19, it went to how literally almost every single general election goes 60-40.
But it was it 60-40? Did it end up turning out to be that way? It seemed like, I guess it wasn't, the difference wasn't too much. But to your point.
And by the way, just a real quick too, that 60-40 number, if you really go down like almost every state, locally, regionally, state Senate, state House, it generally, the way that our very conservative and Republican district is, it's like 60-40 every time, 60 for the Republican and 40 for the Democrat. With regards to Donald specifically, let me see if I can pull up that final number. What were you about to say, though?
I was going to talk about the number, just in case you're wondering. For Jacqueline McMiller, money from the Progressive Club of the Islands, Florida Democrat Party, Democrat Women's Club, Democrat, so a lot of Democrat money, Act Blue, big bucks for Cindy Bonnier. The thing that I wanted to, that I talked about, that I've been talking about for the past few weeks, and you probably have as well, is this town feels different this year. 2020, Southwest Florida feels different than it has in the past. I've been here for 32 plus years. It's different this time around. There seems to be a little bit of in my view, a little bit of a change happening here in this town. I see more and hear from more Democrats. I see a lot more yard signs out for Democrats, names that have, you see a name but no party affiliation. You have no idea, with this expectation that, hey, you walk up to a polling place, you're not sure what's going on. You down ballot, you're not paying attention. You see a name that you recognize from your street corner. Next thing you know it, you find out that person is actually a Democrat. You just voted for him because you don't know anything about it.
Yep.
And I worry about how much, especially if we're looking at some of the amendments and jungle primaries and what could possibly come into the state of Florida. I worry that there is a sea change that is going to be happening here soon. Not a big one necessarily, but one that's going to creep in on us, where we're going to have a lot of NPA races, where we're not going to be allowed to ask party affiliation, where people are going to tell you that they support the president or tell you that they're a Republican when they're no way near it.
Tell you whatever they can to win.
Whatever they need to get into that office, and then all bets are off.
Yep.
There's a lot of things that are happening here, and there's an interest in this town. There's an interest in this town because as it grows, it becomes more influential. As there's an opportunity in the future for the possibility of a couple of more seats in the state, there is an interest in this area. Because if we get one of those seats due to redistricting, next thing you know it, you've got others that want to play in the sandbox, and they don't necessarily have the best interests of Southwest Floridians in mind. They're looking at that seat, and they're willing to get it, however they have to. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Trey Radel in studio here with Drew Steele. Drew, you can catch every morning here weekdays on 92.5 Fox News from 6 to 9 a.m. We're going to take a break, be back for the 9 o'clock hour.
Shouldn't you feel amazing? Hello, this is Dr. Heiler in Naples from the Feel Amazing Institute. If you suffer from chronic knee pain, back pain, or neuropathy, I have solutions for you. Regenerative medicine and stem cell treatment options that are now approved and often paid for by Medicare. Call my office for a free telephone consultation at 239-330-1000. That's 330-1000. This is Dr. Heiler, board-certified chiropractic neurologist. My office combines regenerative medicine, chiropractic, and neurology to help you feel amazing again. Knee pain, back pain, and neuropathy, I have affordable and Medicare-friendly solutions for you. I only do 5 free consultations per week, so please call right away. 239-330-1000. Also at feelamazing.com.
Black Friday sales event going on now at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Lowest prices ever on over 1,500 new and certified pre-owned vehicles. 2020 Jeep Renegade Trailhawk 4x4 loaded, $139 per month. Grand Cherokee Limited or Ram Bighorn Crew Cab lease for just $299 per month. That's right, loaded luxurious Grand Cherokee Limited or award-winning Ram trucks. Your choice, just $299 per month. Plus at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, you can drive payment-free for 3 months, interest-free for 6 years, and worry-free up to 100,000 miles. And our parts service and body shop are open to serve you. Jeep Adventure Days featuring Ram Bighorn Crew Cabs and Grand Cherokee Limited for $299 per month at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 1/2 mile south of Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day, including Sunday. Call 239-481-2600. GallianaCars.com.
42 monthly, 16,000 miles per year, $32.94 due at signing plus tax title, 0 security deposit, $13.88 per month per thousand borrowed for 72 months at 0% APR with 0 down. Lender approval offers don't combine.
Now more than ever, it's essential to have a primary care provider ready to care for you. Book your first appointment through Millennium Physician Group's telehealth service, MPG Connect, and get established with a care team who'll be there for you wherever and whenever you need. Primary and specialty care, walk-in centers, lab services, imaging centers, and COVID-19 evaluation and testing. Connect with Millennium Physician Group today and be ready for tomorrow. 844-CALL-MPG. 844-CALL-MPG, millenniumphysician.com.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Svetlana Kogan, a board-certified internal medicine concierge physician on 5th Avenue South. Almost 2 decades of clinical experience in New York taught me a lot about doctoring. My philosophy is that less medication is better. I prescribe healthy lifestyle, good food, and exercise to heal and prevent most of the health concerns. I teach my patients how to use herbs, vitamins, and supplements properly, and spend a great deal of time with each of my patients, empowering them with mind-body balancing steps to prevent illness and avoid hospitalization. If you're looking for an experienced doctor who is knowledgeable in holistic approach to health, check out my website, customlongevity.com. That's customlongevity.com to learn how becoming a part of my patient family can make you healthy and joyful again.
Southwest Florida is open for business and ready to welcome the 48th Annual Fort Myers Boat Show, November 12th through the 15th. 48 years in downtown on the Caloosahatchee, showcasing the very best in boats and boating products. Stretching along the river from Centennial Park to the newly opened Calusa Sound Convention Center and the City Yacht Basin, it's the most complete showing of boats, boating products, and all things marine. See, compare, and buy everything that's new in boating. From skiffs to fishing boats to cruising boats to luxury yachts, there's a boat for everyone, plus all the gear and gadgets boaters love. Take a break at a variety of downtown bars and restaurants, including the beautiful new Luminary Hotel that overlooks the show. There's plenty of room to stroll around in comfort, and they're ready to assist visitors to maintain social distancing and safety standards to make your day at the show safe and enjoyable. Don't miss boating's biggest showcase, the Fort Myers Boat Show, November 12th to the 15th. Visit FortMyersBoatShow.com for tickets and complete details.
You should be driving a Kia from Galliana. Galliana Kia.
It's It's our November clearance event at Galliana Kia in Fort Myers. Every new Kia available with no money down and no payments till February 2021. Select models with no interest financing for 75 months. And exclusive of that offer, 2020 Kia Forte LXS lease, $49 per month. That's right, $49 per month for a new car. 2020 Kia Rio LX, just $13,990. New Kia Sorento LX V6, $8,000 off. Plus, at Galliana Kia in Fort Myers, if you've got $500 down and you make at least $2,000 per month, our lenders can get you approved.
You should be driving a Kia from Galliana. Galliana Kia.
Galliana Kia, 1/2 mile south of Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day, including Sunday. Call 239-481-2600. GallianaCars.com.
24 month lease, 12,000 miles per year, $39.99 due at signing plus tax, tag, title, dealer, and acquisition fee. Zero security deposit with lender approval expires month end.
When you think RV, think La Mesa RV. Every RV is posted with our everyday low price. Top brands like Winnebago, Fleetwood, and Integra. A new Integra Vision motorhome, number A02779, is discounted over $41,000. If you're thinking it's time to check out RVs, think La Mesa RV. I-75 and Luckett Road in Fort Myers, or LaMesaRV.com. All advertised prices plus tax, tag, title, and $9.95 dealer fee. Offer expires day of ad.
Now is the time to get countertops at Rock Solid. Why Rock Solid? How about Rock Solid's unbelievable prices? Full slabs of quartz from $599, granite $499, and remnants as low as $150. Rock Solid's vast selection of the finest stone from around the world. Rock Solid's award-winning customer service and installation in about a week. Want the best new countertops for your kitchen? The choice is simple. Rock Solid.
Rock Solid. We don't stop at just countertops.
Hey, Alexa, play 92.5 Fox News. It's democracy's biggest night, election night. The 2020 vote. 92.5 Fox News has it covered top to bottom. There's more than the White House up for grabs. There are congressional seats, state seats, judicial seats, local seats, local issues, and more. Who wins, who loses, and how does it affect you? Buckle up. We're in for quite a ride. This is 92.5 Fox News' Election Night 2020 with Drew Steele. Here's Trey Radel.
It's 9:06 here on 92.5 Fox News. Trey Radel, your host right now of the special election coverage here. We stepped out. Let's just talk frank here for a second. Stepped out for a quick bite to eat, a little drink of water. Drew Steele walking back in right now as we continue our special election coverage here on 92.5 Fox News. It's going to be, no surprise, very close out there. There is a significant amount of Democratic voters that have turned out in both North Carolina and Texas. I still think that the president pulls those two off, but Texas has a very significant turnout of blue. And what the Democrats would tell you, if you had anyone, any leadership at all with the Democratic Party here right now, is they'd say, we don't care if we win Texas tonight. We're going to flip Texas. And what this then becomes is a purple state. If Texas were to go blue, the electoral map becomes really, 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 really difficult for Republicans. And that's an understatement of the year. So we are seeing, while Florida went so early for Donald Trump, Georgia is, even though you heard, it's going to be purple and we're going to flip it, and the Republicans and Donald Trump will win the state of Georgia. Texas right now, though, seeing a lot of blue turnout. It's not a concern tonight. I don't think that at all that the president loses Texas. North Carolina is apparently a concern, and Ohio is worrying me right now. We can get the local races in a little bit here, but Drew, with you just walking in, what are you seeing?
I don't know what's. Oh, there it is. All right. I don't know what happened. It was weird. All right. So a couple of things that I'm keeping an eye on. Some of, let's see. This is Okay, yeah, this is Henry Olson is someone who is a columnist who is looking at some of the races that you're looking at. Enough of the votes in Georgia and Ohio and North Carolina that he feels that Trump has a good shot of winning them all. Not saying for certain, but it looks really good. The early vote not strong enough for Biden in Ohio, he thinks, or North Carolina for him to be sure of holding off what would have to be a Trump Election Day surge. If it's there, if it comes in late, then here we go. We're looking at Pennsylvania. So that it's almost as if the play right now and the discussion has been that it's not decisive for Trump in a lot of these states, but many people feel like at the end he'll pull them off. And what we have been looking at as far as the map is concerned and what people thought the average would be, that basically the places where Trump was going to win, he's going to end up taking it. Texas looks close, but he'll end up taking it. Ohio looks like it was not going to happen, but ultimately he will. North Carolina, and then we just get right back to where we started, which is keeping an eye on Pennsylvania and how that shakes out, especially considering Trump winning Florida. So,
a friend of mine is actually texting from Ohio right now, saying that that these tallies numbers that we're seeing in Ohio was just a ton of early voting, to go to exactly what you were saying, and that the people in rural areas, which are going to vote overwhelmingly for Donald Trump, they didn't mail in, and that there is still a red wave that will come, and we're just going to get a later call on Ohio. In looking at some of the local races, let's go ahead and take some time to go through these along with the amendments, starting with the amendments. Amendment 1 is really just kind of affirming some language. The citizenship voting, you have to be a citizen to vote. That's done. That's a winner. A lot of these votes, though, are very close throughout the state of Florida on amendments. The $15 minimum wage right now is a yes at 61%. Remember, you have to have a 60% threshold to win these amendments. It's at 61 now. Amendment 3 is at 57. That is the open primary, jungle primary for our state elections. Amendment 2 and Amendment 3 are terrible amendments. Amendment 2, we've seen our restaurants all over the state of Florida absolutely decimated by COVID-19, and yet you still have John Morgan funding this amendment, saying, yeah, I don't give a damn what the restaurants want to do or what they need to recover from. The government's going to decide what you're going to pay your people. Horrible disaster of an amendment. Right now it's up by 1%. The good news is we've still got a lot of the panhandle that will vote. That may not meet its 60% threshold. We'll see. Amendment 3, the open primary, would end up with just absolute indescribable political blobs running for office that you would not know where they stand on anything. They would be more beholden to corporate money than ever before. And I'll tell you what, if Amendment 3 existed, you would not have a Rick Scott or Ron DeSantis. Neither one of those guys would have won at all. You would, and Democrats too should fear this, because you end up, hell, Andrew Gillum wouldn't have even been on the ballot. Now, that's just one thing. So Amendment 4, that's losing. Amendment 4, you have to vote twice on these amendments to make them pass. That is losing, 48 to 52. And Amendment 5, limiting the homestead, which is good and helps out spouses of veterans. It looks like, I'm surprised they haven't even.
They call it, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Amendment 6 is called Amendment 5.
Amendment 6 is yes, that's the veterans one. And limiting the homestead is that just simply allows you another year to carry over your homestead. Are they calling 5? I'm looking at 75 to 25%.
Not yet. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's 5 and 6 end up passing.
Yeah.
Looking at some of the House districts, Greg Stubbe, Republican representing Charlotte and beyond, wins. Byron Donalds wins. These, look, there's a Republican area. These come as no surprise in both of those districts, 17 and District 19 for the United States House of Representatives. You essentially have to win your primary, and that's basically it. You are done. Looking at some of these state Senate seats, Gruters wins there and in District 23, State Senate 27 between Rachel Brown, Ray Rodriguez. Again, 60-40 is basically the trend that we always see among Republicans and Democrats. Ray Rodriguez looking very strong there. State House District 55, Tuck and Trip Tuck, the Republican, up by a very large percentage, 73-27. District 56 again, State House, the Republican winning there. District 75, the nobody reported yet in that one. 76, Adam Botana versus Anselm Weber. Oh, it just refreshed on me. Botana was winning it again with a very large percentage. What's up with this? The website just went. So it looks like they hit refresh before I did.
Yeah.
Let me get back to where I was. Botana up 64-36. Gia Lombardo over in the Cape beating the Democrat handily as well, 62-38. Jenna Person's a little tighter in this race, and that's reflective of Jenna Person's State House District 78, 55-45. And that's with only about 14% of the precincts reporting. We'll keep you updated on that, but I expect Jenna to win. But this again shows that Democrats have been in that area of Fort Myers, have been spending some money, investing in their candidates and turning out votes. Spencer Roach beating his Democrat opponent roughly 60-40 once again. Then as you move into District 80, this was actually Byron Donald's old district in the State House. Lauren Mello winning there as well in big percentages. District 106, Bob Rommel wins that. Lee County Sheriff Carmine Marcino wins there. Charlotte County Sheriff, zero precincts. We got all the early voting in, but the Republican Prummel winning in huge numbers. Hendry County Sheriff as well. Steve Whidden, he's called for that. DeSoto, Jim Potter. Oh, in DeSoto, they Democrat beats. I didn't know that. And I don't know if that's old. You know what that is? That old school Democrat?
I think it is. I was going to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I knew. If there's somebody listening at DeSoto and who could give me the breakdown between Potter and Delaney, please give us a shout. 239-479-5592. Very curious about that DeSoto County. What is going on in DeSoto where the Dem wins? And again, that might just be old school rural Florida.
We really want to dive into it.
of that.
Yeah, well, let's do a deep dive into DeSoto's Democrat issues.
Somebody in DeSoto, give me a shout. Explain that. Fort Myers mayor will be Kevin Anderson. Bonita Springs mayor will be Rick Steinmeier. Charlotte County extending the 1% sales tax. A lot of people for in the early votes. We'll see how that shakes out. Conservation Collier funding that wins, yes. Kevin Ruane, Ray Sandelli, Frank Mann will all be Lee County commissioners. Cape Coral, have you paid much attention in some of these Cape Coral city races? So, Tom Hayden beats Camerata?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Tom Hayden, liberal, news press guy. I haven't talked much about that race. Tom Hayden, I have a lot of experience with that man.
Tell me more about your experience.
God, that sucks.
Well, tell me more about your experience.
Chris Camerata, great guy, and Tom Hayden. My biggest problem with Tom Hayden. So Tom Hayden sat on the. Sorry, if you're friends with him.
I'm not. But this is a perfect example of how NPA. You have an NPA race. You have people supporting a candidate, and how much do they really know about the person?
Yeah.
And
so Tom Hayden was on the op-ed board of the news press.
Yeah.
And my biggest problem with him, as I would tell him to his face right now, is he was friggin' ignorant. The guy would hammer any Republican who gets into office. When you're a member of the news press op-ed board, which, by the way, Gannett or whoever, they stopped that practice because they realized that, oh my gosh, here in Southwest Florida, we're dominated by Republicans, and we are a bunch of damn liberals who keep endorsing either the most moderate, soft Republican that we can, who will abide by what we want, or a Democrat.
Yeah.
And Hayden was a member of that board, and it was one of the most, look, in all of my experiences, I will sit here and lay out all of my faults during my time in Congress, but during my time as a candidate, I did everything I could to be respectful, to talk with Democrats, and hell, Will Prather and prominent Democrats in this area would tell you, as soon as I won my general election, my calls went to Democrats before they did Republicans. And I still today reflect on this. I don't sound bitter, do I yet? Of sitting down with the News Press op-ed board. Again, they don't do this anymore. And part of it's because of what they did with me. It was the most sad-ass lot of people who were simply there to pick on, at that time, Drew, the radio guy.
Yeah.
This is the guy. This is the big Tea Party guy. And they pegged me. I never even once used the words Tea Party in my race, ever. Never, ever. Came in. My biggest problem with Hayden in particular is that this guy would call. He'd call our office and say, I can't believe you damn Republicans are voting to eliminate this part of Obamacare. And literally 3 weeks later, and this is after the government gets shut down, Obama, by executive order, removes the piece of Obamacare that Republicans fought to remove. I go back to Tom Hayden.
Yeah.
You're asking questions about this. Do you know about this? Do you know that Obama ended up using executive orders to implement 2 of the last 3 votes of Republicans? No idea. My biggest problem is that this guy's gone around purporting that he is some sort of moderator. I don't even know what the hell he says he is. But it is thoroughly disappointing that Cape Coral votes for Tom Hayden tonight over Chris Camerata.
Listen, the politics in Cape Coral are going to change.
The Cape is nuts.
You've got a lot of...
I don't get you, Cape Coral.
You got a lot of liberals that are going to be on that city council that are creeping in. You got a lot of politics of individuals who have some liberal ideologies and some past liberalism in their past, and you didn't take a deep enough look to see these individuals and what they're about, and now you're going to be. I know it's just it's a sad reality of.
Yeah, I mean, look, Cape Coral City Council, in many ways, including the people that purport themselves as I'm a real conservative when they're not running in their nonpartisan races. It's like a friggin' homeowners association. I mean, all they're doing, Ian, you and I have been going nuts about this, about every damn law they want to make, rules they want to make, the spending that they've got going on. Do you know they spend $100,000 to put Wi-Fi in outside parks? Like dumb stuff like this. I don't know.
Put down a phone and watch your kids.
I'm going to
go to the pickleball court. Well, do they have Wi-Fi?
Yeah. What kind of sense does any of this make?
They spent more than that on the Christmas lights on Cape Coral Parkway.
Don't get me started with Cape Coral. I'm disappointed. But moving on. All right. So a couple of things I wanted to let you know about that I'm noticing on the Twitterverse. Is this a discussion about taking back your early call on Virginia? Candace Owens, Fox might recall their Biden call for Virginia?
I will say Ohio is tightening
quickly
as well.
Right. So
Ohio,
all of a
Biden
sudden...
51, Trump 47.
Listen to me. I'm telling you, this is what people have been talking to me for weeks now. They said, be careful of these early calls to try to get those that would be going out and stay. And if there are people that are planning on going out to vote, they hear Virginia is completely lost. They don't want to go out. There are people that on the West Coast that are watching what is happening on the East Coast. They're seeing some of the things that are happening. They're hearing these early calls. If you're looking at CBS, you see lots of smiles and Biden, and everything is. And it's like a plan, everybody. It's like this idea that we're going to tell you something that is not reality. We're going to make calls that do not exist early on just to sway voters. and to get people off of these lines knowing full well that the only way that the Democrats can attack this is by switching what they planned from the beginning, which was you got to get out and you got to mail them in because you're not going to leave your house. We got COVID crazy around here. It's rampant. You can't leave your house. You got to stay locked up. And so everybody needs to mail. Wait. Y'all need to get out of your house quick and get back. No, it told me to stay in the house. Now everything is changed. Now we've got this flip all of a sudden where Democrats are realizing that, crap, if I don't get these folks out, and we don't get them voting now today, we might be in some trouble. And that's why you're seeing a lot of these numbers coming in late. I think that is being described by many people, including Sarah Carter and Candace Owens, and they're looking and seeing exactly what we're talking about. Like, they're going to rescind the Virginia call.
And you guys can talk about all this great stuff and stats that you just threw out there, but I follow one city, and that's Las Vegas, guys. And the current odds are Donald Trump will win this election by 51%. Obviously, Biden's got 49%, and that's according to Betfair. So that's really where I lean on everything.
CBS News is calling Wisconsin a toss-up. That's great news. Here's why.
Tell me.
Wisconsin, unlike Michigan and Ohio and Pennsylvania. In fact, let me remove Ohio a second. When you look at Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, in all three, Biden has consistently led in the polls. Now, it's been within the margin of error only in Pennsylvania and Michigan. Wisconsin, Biden has consistently been up out of the margin of error. And now that you've got CBS News estimating as a toss-up, it's a very good sign. And it kind of goes back to what Ford O'Connell had been talking about. If we see, in Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, a lot of these may end up going similar to each other, just again, culturally, kind of like how we looked at Miami-Dade, Broward, and others, and where culturally you had a vote that came in for Trump in South Florida. But Michigan continues to lead. Donald Trump continues to lead there. And in Ohio, I'm looking at this. It appears there's only one county that's left, and they're separated. But Biden and Trump are separated by, it looks about, what are we at? About a little more than 100,000 votes. Go ahead. I'm getting texts from Ohio right now.
Yeah, the New York Times forecasting a Trump victory in North Carolina at 90%. Again,
that's good.
New York Times has been really good tonight. Again, we've talked about it nonstop tonight. Fox News called Virginia for Biden early on. Something is very, very odd.
It's insane.
I don't know where to turn, to be brutally honest with you. The news is that different from one place to another. But I can tell you, like we've talked about earlier, about Trump narrowing his, the Latin vote in Miami and Dade County and all that kind of stuff. He's doing the same thing in Northern Virginia, right outside Washington, D.C., which is a big thing as well.
Now they're saying Virginia is too close to call.
I'm telling you.
Did somebody retract it?
No, it's Jordan Schachtel who was looking, and they're saying the numbers are showing that it's too close to call, yet they called Virginia early. It's just wrong. It's just wrong.
We have Trish Regan coming up at about 9:35. Do we need to break? Are we gonna? We don't need to break, right? We'll go. Let's take a little bit of a break, and then we expect to have Trish Regan on with us in just a few minutes. You're listening to special election coverage here on 92.5 Fox News. We got the whole band here in studio. I am Trey Radel, next to Drew Steele. Drew, who you can catch every morning right here on 92.5 Fox News.
Does that include tomorrow morning, Cassio? That does.
As it approaches 9:30 here. John Cassio.
Let's go on early. Let's go on at 4.
Ian Katrina with us. And we're going to have Trish Regan on. Looking to get perhaps Ford O'Connell and Seth Weathers back on as well, two political consultants who are watching these numbers, who might be able to give us I don't know, maybe some sense of security. We'll see what Trish Regan has to say, too, just around the corner. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This is 92.5 Fox News.
From Southwest Florida's news leader, this is a Wink News Update.
Wink News is your campaign central. Here are the races we can call at this hour. The winner of Congressional District 19 seat is Republican Byron Donalds. Republican Greg Steube wins re-election to the U.S. House in Florida's 17th Congressional District. 3 GOP candidates win seats on Lee County Commission. Ray Sandelli, Frank Mann, and Kevin Ruane. Lee County Sheriff Carmine Morcino wins his bid for re-election. 2 GOP Collier County Commissioners William McDaniel and Rick LaCastro win seats for District 5 and District 1, respectively. Kevin Anders is the next mayor for the city of Fort Myers. At this hour, the presidential race in Florida is leaning red by less than a point. Southwest Florida, all red, voting for Trump. Larger metropolitan cities in Florida, including Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Orlando, Tampa, and Miami, are all leaning towards Biden. Wink News will be on the air throughout the night. You can head to the Wink News app to view all the races in real time as they're called. I'm Russ McCaskey. Wink News now.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshares. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, well, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sounds crazy, right? Well, the crazy thing is, this never ends. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. I guarantee if we can't cancel your timeshare, you'll pay nothing.
Were you lied to when buying a timeshare and want out? Get the facts about timeshare cancellation. Call Wesley now for your free information kit. 800-780-5959. 800-780-5959. 800-780-5959.
There's this.
Coronavirus. This event is a public health emergency.
This is very, very serious. And then this. This president.
This was a failure. This is a marathon.
This is 2020.
Is looking really easy.
And then this.
Socialism. This is crazy what's happening.
Scary stuff. Keep connected.
Misinformation.
By checking in often.
Every single day. What's going on?
This
now
is 92.5 Fox News.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Svetlana Kogan, a board-certified internal medicine concierge physician on Fifth Avenue South. Almost 2 decades of clinical experience in New York taught me a lot about doctoring. My philosophy is that less medication is better. I prescribe healthy lifestyle, good food, and exercise to heal and prevent most of the health concerns. I teach my patients how to use herbs, vitamins, and supplements properly, and spend a great deal of time with each of my patients empowering them with mind-body balancing steps to prevent illness and avoid hospitalization. If you're looking for an experienced doctor who is knowledgeable in holistic approach to health, check out my website, customlongevity.com. That's customlongevity.com to learn how becoming a part of my patient family can make you healthy and joyful again.
Hello, Southwest Florida. I'm Anthony with the American Tradesman Show, and my guest, Gerald Prevett from B&K Water Extraction and Mold Services, and his brother, Brian Prevett from Prevett Plumbing, and my partner, Juan Silva from American Electrical. Join us each week, Saturday mornings between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m., where we talk about something new in the construction field, educating you on anything with the new codes, new requirements, and also the materials and the products that we use on these shows. So we look forward to you listening to our show. God bless America, and Semper Fi. Hoorah!
Hey guys, did you hear the good news about our boys at National Exterminators?
Yeah, boss. You mean about the $46 hip fee?
Yeah, and National Exterminators just hired an old school killer.
Bugsy the Roach, Ratso the Rat, Tony the Termite, and the Anthill Mob better worry.
I'm gonna put a big bounty on them now. Hello, National Exterminators. Get me the masked man.
Hi-ho, Silver! Yes, Godfather. Me and my trusted partner Pronto will get it done fast. Hey, Pronto, the Godfather just called, and we have to wipe out the gang of critters out west.
Out west? West of what, Kimosabi?
West of Miami, of course. Hi-ho, Silver! Low prices today!
It's me, Ratso. I think we're done. The Lone Ranger and Pronto from National Exterminators has his corner.
Want to whack your gang of pests for only $46? Just call the boys at National Exterminators. Dial 239-46-NO-BUG and at 46nobug.com.
The National Exterminators.
This is 92.5 Fox News.
Will I vote? Of course I will. I say I would because if I don't, I can't complain. I will complain because I'm...
Alongside Drew Steele here, John Cassio in studio. We've got Ian and Katrina. Got the band back together. You jamming a little country here? That what you got? You got a little country going on, man?
Is that what that is?
You know, I prefer you bump hip hop, but I see Katrina's in your ear, busting that out. I don't even know what we're listening to. We got a great guest on right now, Trish Regan. You go to visit TrishIntel.com. What's up, Trish? How you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you, Drew?
We are great here. We think. I don't know. You know what this is like?
It looks like he might actually pull off Florida.
Yeah, Florida's fine. Florida's done.
Yeah, we got it. We think we got Florida.
As Floridians, we believe that actually an hour ago, honest to God, that it was over, and that comes from the people. I mean, I get what I'm about to say is I'm having a little bit of fun here, but what won Florida for Donald Trump tonight was deep blue Miami-Dade, and that's because you had so many people of Cuban heritage, people with bloodlines to Cuba, Venezuela, new immigrants that just got here and who are voting, and they would not vote for. It's not that they don't think Joe Biden's a communist or socialist, but they think his party is, and they ended up turning out for Donald Trump in enormous numbers. Trish, Trey Radel here, and I've got Drew Steele here. What's your take of states like Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin?
Well, I think he might get Michigan. I think he could pull off Wisconsin. I think Ohio is looking strangely difficult right now. But I would emphasize that the rural counties do not come in until later. I'm not surprised one bit, Trey, on Florida. I actually weeks ago predicted that specifically because of Miami-Dade and given all my own reporting on Venezuela, I really felt it. I mean, I heard from so many Floridians that felt so passionately about this, and I think that they completely underestimated the Hispanic population here in this country. I think you'll see something similar in Arizona. But, as far as the Rust Belt, so to speak, goes, look, I mean, Joe Biden has a lot more going for him, right, than Hillary Clinton did. In some ways, the Republicans might have been better off positioning Kamala Harris a little bit more front and center because, let's face it, if Joe Biden wins, she's going to be lurking in the wings. I'd be really careful if I were Joe Biden, shall we say. I'd want like a food tester or something because she's right there. No, really. I mean, think about all the opposition research is ready there waiting, right? In terms of Hunter Biden and his laptop.
Yeah.
So, but I only mention this because I think that Joe Biden has managed to resonate in some of these places in a way that Hillary Clinton simply could not. And the Democrats have capitalized on that. Whether or not it wins the day, I mean, I firmly believe, and, if you know anything about me, you know how passionate I am about the economy and the middle class. And I don't think that any candidate has really spoken for the middle class of America in the way that Donald Trump has. And he's done so much. And I want to see a continuation of those policies. But I have some concerns right now. We'll see. We'll see as the night goes on. I think he should take Ohio. He should take Michigan. Michigan's looking good. He should take Pennsylvania, but a lot of money was spent there. Don't forget that, Trey.
Yep.
Trish, it's Drew. I'm so glad you brought up the economy because I got some questions. A good day today. The Dow is looking good. People were talking about how the markets felt like, and I think it's safe to say the markets like stability. They like what they know, and so feeling like that was going to be the case today, that there may be more of what they know, is good for the markets. But how are the markets going to play, in your view, if you're looking at a couple of days of a Pennsylvania that's going to decide whether or not who is going to be the president, that kind of uncertainty mixed in with some of the things that we're starting to see as people start to get near the White House, as the polls are starting to close, and some of the things that we may see on the streets in some of the cities. I wonder how the markets are going to react in the next few days.
So, Drew, I'm so glad you asked that question because, first of all, I think the market's a little bit nuts to think that, because they're basically trying to price in a Joe Biden win. And I think that, and a blue wave, frankly, and I think that is not a healthy thing for our markets or our economy. I think everyone's taxes are going to go up, both on the individual and the corporate level. And there'll be plenty of stimulus, and that's what they're sort of banking on in the near term. But stimulus is artificial. And what you need is real growth. And I don't think that the Democrats' policy of just printing money is going to get us anywhere near the real growth that we actually need. So that aside, I do suspect that the next couple of days will be pretty challenging, and we may not have an answer tonight, right? And
Right.
You are right, Drew. The markets want an answer. So if they don't get an answer, you're going to probably see a lot of volatility. What we saw today, even with the market trading higher, it was very thin volume. So there wasn't a lot of trading. Most of the smart money right now is on the sidelines, and they're like, okay, let me see how this all plays out. I do think that it's going to get very choppy if we don't have a clear winner. They would love a clear winner and some sort of sense of direction. The best case scenario, I kid you not, for the markets and for our economy is a Donald Trump win with the Senate staying red. And, look, Morgan Stanley predicted this. Their chief equity strategist is saying 3,900 on the S&P by year end, which would be double-digit gains between now and December 31st, if you saw that. The next best case scenario is Biden, Harris, and the White House with the Senate staying red. Worst case scenario, frankly, is a whole blue wave.
Right. And I think that's something that people, we don't talk about enough. You hinted at it, but I think it's one of those things that people should know, which is the markets don't necessarily mind stimulus. They don't mind Biden, Harris, if they think that there's going to be stimulus money. The markets don't mind that because they know where the money's going to go. But it's not about the short term. It's about, you got to play long ball. It's the long game. And so it's that little bit of tease is not enough to sustain. And that's really all it is. It's not sustainable, to your point. That's something that people...
Well, and Drew, don't forget, you have to pay it back.
Right, yeah,
Like,
right.
You can't
No, because there's people, right, Trish, because...
like 27 trillion?
Yeah, well, Trish, I mean, let's admit it, right? Let's just put it all out there. There are people who can make the case that the markets don't necessarily mind Biden, Harris, because they believe, because look, hey, government money, that's to them, the eyes looking in say, well, it's free money. The money's coming in. The money's going to be flowing. So everything is fine. But that's when you have to take a step back and realize, what is happening here. And it's, again, goes back to the long
we don't want to be Venezuela, right? Yeah, you can keep that money printed, but it only goes so long. And I won't bore you with all the intricacies of this, but the reality is we are still the world's reserve currency. And with that goes some certain benefits. But China's waiting in the wings, and China would love to make the yuan the world's reserve currency. And they're working on various versions of cyber currencies, et cetera, to try and compete with us. And they're courting the Europeans, et cetera. So there are some other factors at play in all of this. And fine. Okay, we can manage it right now. Interest rates are so low. But what happens if that changes and interest rates go up? We're not even going to be able to service our darn debt.
Yeah. I'm reminding everybody that my new show is going to be called "Bore Me with the Intricacies." So I'm glad you brought that up, Trish. That's a new. Maybe we'll do that together. It'll be a new show. It'll be all about the intricacies that we just can't go on this program. Certainly.
Awesome.
Yeah, but as we continue to watch some of the I'm shocked, and Trey, I want to ask you as well, both of you. Are you surprised at how early some of these races have been called? I don't like it. I don't like that the Virginia being called so early. I'm concerned.
Yeah.
About
by the way, Trish, so you know, Trey here. At least CNN is one of the cable networks to retract their call for Virginia. That's correct? Yeah. CNN called it for Virginia very early for Joe Biden and has since retracted that. But I believe AP, Fox, MSNBC sticking with that. we'll see how that unfolds. But in looking at how some of these states, I gotta say here, I'm literally, I'm born and raised in Ohio, and I'm watching the map, and this thing is tightening right now. It is 49 to 48 in favor of Joe Biden.
There you go.
But Trish, just like you said, there's still a lot of votes out there, rural votes that have yet to be counted. I think we're looking at about maybe 15, 20% of maybe even 30 actually that have not been counted, that are all well outside these major cities in the state of Ohio. And it's looking better for Donald Trump is all I'll say there, and that's good.
I agree with you. It's narrowing, and to your point, like all these rural counties, it's going to take a little bit longer for them to come in, and that's where he tends to see more support in some of those rural areas. I agree with you on the polls. I mean, you can't call these elections with such a little percentage in. And by the way, the mainstream media ought to know that, right? Because aren't they the ones that have been saying, oh, wait a second, you got to count all the votes. It's going to take weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yep.
So for them to be out there so proactively calling things for Biden, I suspect there's a little more that perhaps influences them in their reasons for doing so. But nonetheless, it's not right. And you can't call it, frankly, it's not over till it's over. Although I know Florida's over, right? Right, guys?
We think so, yeah. Trish Regan on the line with us right now. You can find her online at trishintel.com. That's TRISH Intel, INTEL.com. On Twitter as well, at Trish_Regan, REGAN. She has a killer podcast as well that you can catch. The link is right on there on her Twitter profile and on her website, trishintel.com. As well. I'm looking again. Looking at Ohio. I'm looking
Trump
at
takes the lead in
Pennsylvania.
Ohio. A political poll says Trump takes the lead in Ohio. Just 37 seconds ago.
Yeah.
There's your flip.
There you go.
There it
you
is.
go.
There goes Ohio.
I mean,
starting up.
Listen,
It's happening. Trump
if
is
he
up.
takes Ohio,
Trump is up in Michigan, 56 to 41.
Trump is up 12 points in Virginia.
This is insane. How do you do this?
And I'm sorry, we're yelling, Trish, right now, but we've been on this Virginia thing all day because we don't know what the heck's going on.
Trish, I never yell. John Cassio makes me yell. He hangs out with me too much, and he's always yelling.
I get emotional, and it turns into a whole thing, Trish.
I yell at my child. My wife yells at me. It's a mess.
Trish yells at me all the time. It's a whole thing. So, but Virginia, guys.
How did they do this?
Virginia.
Let me tell you about Pennsylvania as well. What I'm seeing right now is almost the exact same trend as we watched in Ohio. If you remember, we pulled up Ohio, and I was sharing, look, I know these cities, Cleveland, Akron, Columbus. Of course, they report early, they report big numbers, and Biden had a significant lead. And boom, it all gets cut short. I'm looking at a map of Pennsylvania right now, a boatload of area, all rural, including some of the suburbs of Pittsburgh going red, tons of rural that has not been counted, and it's a 10% difference right now. It was actually larger in Ohio at one point, and now Donald Trump has taken the lead in Ohio, very close, but we're seeing very positive trends, and incredibly, I'm looking at Wisconsin. Sorry, let me take a breath and a step back here. Let me.
Trish, what are your feelings on Wisconsin?
Yeah.
What do you think? Have you visited? What do you think?
He's going to win Wisconsin. I think he's going to win Wisconsin. I think he's going to win Michigan. I'm really pleased to see this in Ohio. I think the nail biter still is going to be Pennsylvania. Look, I mean, that's his home turf. But, I can't just this is just common sense, okay? So back in 2016, I remember, I'll give you a little story. It was 5 o'clock. I did this call with the Fox News decision desk, and they said, it's going to be an early night. She's got this whole thing wrapped up. All our exit polling shows Hillary Clinton will win it. It'll be over by 9 p.m. And so I'm thinking, oh, great, I'll be home in time to maybe kiss the kids goodnight. And sure enough, that wasn't at all the case. And I think I strolled in around 3 or 4 in the morning and Donald Trump was president.
Yep.
And so, you just can't early in the evening or early, you can't rely on that. I think you have to actually watch this whole thing play out, and things can shift really, really fast, as we're seeing right now in real time. But I would go back to, again, common sense, which is that back in 2016, I thought, well, all those thousands and thousands and thousands of people that are flocking to these rallies, they're real, right?
Yep.
So how is it that Hillary Clinton doesn't have anyone going to hers? And I felt the same way and have throughout this campaign. Same thing, right? Donald Trump's got these thousands of people that are just coming out of the woodwork for him. And Joe Biden has, a few dozen in some cases. And I get it. Well, they can't be there because of COVID. But still, there's something to that momentum.
There really is. And we are watching it unfold in real time right now in Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin. Let me also say, if President Trump, I'm just playing with a little interactive map here, my take was Trump would win Florida and Ohio because he had a consistent lead in Ohio. He would lose Michigan and Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania would be the real game changer here. But right now, if President Trump takes Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin, not only does he not need Pennsylvania, he doesn't even need Arizona. If he gets Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, it's game over. Fascinating. You got something new?
Can you imagine how upset CNN is going to be tomorrow?
That'd be great.
Wasn't it? Who was it? Wasn't it the governor? The governor today. This morning when I was talking to Governor DeSantis, and he was, it's going to be great to see the meltdown of the faces on CNN just for Florida, let alone the country. Go ahead, John Cassio. What do you got?
No. Just to jump on everything you guys are talking about. For reference, we go back to Virginia, and I'm just fascinated with it, as everybody can tell. Fairfax County, which is right outside of D.C., it's that Arlington Falls Church area. Most of the D.C. kind of goes there to live. Elected a Soros-backed prosecutor, and in 2016, Hillary took that with practically 2/3 of the vote. Right now, it is Joe Biden at 51% of the vote and Donald Trump at 45% of the vote. That's where we are right now in Fairfax County in Virginia. That's just
in a county that Joe Biden should have.
It's easy. He could have walked down the street, and it's like he's walking on air.
Well, there's probably something to say about with Joe Biden walking on air. There's I'm looking at. Wow, there are. I can't believe that there are people that are just backing up on Virginia. They're just
more. On the line with us, Trish Regan. You can visit her online, trishintel.com. On Twitter, you can follow her as well, at Trish_Regan, Regan. And on there, you can find her daily podcast as well. All of it right there online. Trish Regan, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate some of your insight.
My pleasure. Great to talk to you, Trey, Drew, and John as well. Thank you so much.
Even John got him. Look at that.
There we go. Get the shout out.
Get the shout out.
The shout out
for you. Good for you.
All right, we're going to be watching Virginia, John. All for you.
Yeah.
All for you. That's all we're going to do, Trish. We're just going to watch Virginia. Not even going to look at anybody else. Just for Cassio.
Very weird night there. That's
that
all
is
I'm
a weird
saying.
thing. All right.
Thanks, Trish, so much. Appreciate it.
Trisha, huge thank you. Thank you so much. Again, that was Trish Regan. You can visit her online, trishintel.com. So let's, man, I've been so caught up in all these damn maps and everything.
It is crazy.
If you're just joining us here, maybe you are in your car, you're out, you're heading home, you're heading to work, whatever it may be. This is special election coverage on 92.5 Fox News. And what we have been witnessing is interesting trends happening in Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin, to some degree Pennsylvania as well, where things are looking pretty good for Donald J. Trump. Donald Trump, I don't know if it's officially been declared, but we could say that Donald Trump has won the state of Florida. As many thought that Georgia would be in play, it is not. It will go to Donald Trump. But these very important critical swing states of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin show promise for Donald Trump. If he were to win a combination of these, he doesn't need to rely on in Arizona so much. In Ohio, he had consistently led in the polls, but that wasn't the story in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And he's performing really well in those states. Now, if he were to take these like he did in 2016, he had Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin. If he wins 3 of the 4 or 2 of the 4, it becomes very difficult for Joe Biden to overcome that. And Arizona is also something that he won in 2016, and we would hope that he secures that again as well. But all of this is tight, very tight. Again, the reality is that a state like Pennsylvania is accepting votes 3 days after the actual election day today, and they will still be tabulated.
Yeah, no signature, no nothing. Just bring it in. What do you got, a napkin? That's good.
Yeah, I was at a bar and I wrote this down. I vote for Joe. There you have it. There we've got it. Just make sure you bring that to Philadelphia, where they will tabulate that.
Oh, they'll take that. And then they'll break a window. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
By the way, you guys have been watching the news. I've been looking at these maps and everything. Has there been any violence or any protests or anything?
It's funny, as I'm scrolling down Twitter, outside the White House is starting to get a little busy.
Yep.
Yeah.
A little busy outside the White House.
People starting to feel uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Oh, bad Orange Man's going to continue here.
With regards to the amendments, the bad amendments, Amendment 2, raising Florida's minimum wage, this would be awful for business owners, quite frankly, of all sizes, and absolutely decimate our restaurant industry. Amendment number 3 is the all voters vote, which is what a terrible joke that is. It would create jungle primaries just like California. Right now, what we are looking at, let me take a really quick look here at the state of Florida. Can you all tell me how much of the vote has yet to be reported? So we're at about 95% of the votes tabulated. The all voters vote, the open primary, is not meeting the 60% threshold, and it's at 56.9, so about 3 percentage points short of its goal. I think it's safe to say that may not pass. The minimum wage is at 60.76%. So you would then have to see whether or not that 5% that's outstanding is still in the panhandle, which it may be. That is not going to vote in support of the minimum wage, and or overseas ballots, and that may include military too, that would still need to be tabulated. That minimum wage thing is going to be very, very close. And other than that, what do we got here? So
in Miami.
All right, this is Miami. Wow. Okay, so let me give you a little, just because I know South Florida fairly well, and I've been known these districts for a while. Donald Trump won Florida because of the Cuban vote, overwhelmingly. Don't get me wrong, a whole lot of other factors that come there, but the crazy part about tonight is that deep blue Miami-Dade County helped push Donald Trump over the edge. And in that county tonight, there are 2 critical congressional seats that are up and swinging in all different directions, but they always favored the Democrats. And one of them was between Carlos Jimenez and Debbie Mercosal Powell. Carlos Jimenez, he's the mayor of Miami-Dade, was the underdog Republican, and he has just been declared the winner. He has beat out Mercosal Powell, and that is a very powerful statement in a district, in a county that was just determined to be lost by Republicans. And I'm telling you right now, Donald Trump helped save that congressional seat. Because he had no problem with going out and talking and actually reaching out, I would say, to not just Hispanic voters, but knowing the difference between Hispanic voters and to black voters. And that is what is changing our Florida delegation. That Republican winning back a seat in Congress for our Florida delegation. And then, John, I'd ask if there is any numbers at all or anything available between the other one, Donna Shalala, and Salazar, Elvira Salazar. That is a seat that was won by Shalala. She had been with the Clinton administration. She won what was a Republican seat to Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, who had retired. That, again, was written off, unfortunately, by many Republicans, just saying, well, we don't have Ileana Ros-Lehtinen there. She was loved by everybody. It'll never go red again. That's going to be a close race that we're watching as well when it comes to the Florida delegation. Let me finalize this point with the importance of winning congressional seats. The Republicans are not going to win back the House tonight. However, if we have some sort of a freak incident tonight where you have a tie in the Electoral College, and here's how that could happen, where you get 269 Biden, 269 Trump. If Trump wins Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Biden wins Michigan, Wisconsin, Virginia, Biden wins Arizona, you can come to 269. And the vote then goes to the House of Representatives. And tonight, Florida was, and the House of Representatives would vote with the next Congress, not this one. And the way that works is the delegation of each state gets one vote per state. So now it is looking like Florida will have a majority of Republicans. We only had one up on Democrats. If this trend in Florida stays the same, I believe it will, Florida will securely vote for Donald Trump as a delegation and win one vote in the House of Representatives. We would have to see whether or not Pennsylvania retains its majority Republicans in the House. Again, may go blue, but if they have congressional seats that are Republican in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and other states as they are, even if they're blue states, but have more Republicans in the House, that becomes a vote for Donald Trump. The U.S. House of Representatives then votes on the President of the United States of America, and it would go to Donald Trump. Little convoluted, a little crazy, but that's where we're at.
Yeah, and just to your point, Salazar still up on Shalala, about 7,000 votes.
That's great.
That's
a lot.
About 45 minutes ago. So
even in one of the most populated areas, that's a huge number. Wow.
Robert Cahaley of Trafalgar was asked by Rich Lowry how things are looking. He said, everything's kind of unfolding the way we figured. And Trafalgar is one of the polling entities out there that was bold enough to call Trump in 2016 and DeSantis in 2018.
Listen, just so you know, the way that these are unfolding right now is I'm looking at the Decision Desk headquarters, which is it really has been showing the trends, and right now the trend is Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin for Trump.
It's your lips to God's ears. I'll say it because I'm telling you right now.
These are all good. We're going to take a break here as we decompress, take a deep breath, sort of take a look at what is happening right now. This nonsense that Texas was going blue, Georgia was going blue. That's not happening tonight. North Carolina, some concerns there. That would not be good. But the trends right now, I would say overall, are looking pretty darn positive for Donald J. Trump. We're going to be back with about another hour of special election coverage here on 92.5 Fox News. I am Trey Rade alongside Drew Steele. Drew, who you can catch every morning right here on 92.5 Fox News starting at 6 a.m. We got John Cassio, Ian, and Katrina with us tonight. Our phone lines are open too as well, 239-479-5592. We'll be right back.
When your liberal relatives from up north come for a month, turn up 92.5 Fox News in the house, in the car, and on the radio at the beach. 92.5 Fox News. Run all along.
From Southwest Florida's news leader, This is a Wink News update.
Wink News is your campaign central. Here are the races we can call at this hour. The winner of Congressional District 19 seat is Republican Byron Donalds. Republican Greg Steube wins re-election to the U.S. House in Florida's 17th Congressional District. 3 GOP candidates win seats on Lee County Commission. Ray Sandelli, Frank Mann, and Kevin Ruane. Lee County Sheriff Carmine Morcino wins his bid for re-election. 2 GOP Collier County Commissioners William McDaniel and Rick LaCastro win seats for District 5 and District 1, respectively. Kevin Anders is the next mayor for the city of Fort Myers. At this hour, the presidential race in Florida is leaning red by less than a point. Southwest Florida, all red, voting for Trump. Larger metropolitan cities in Florida, including Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Orlando, Tampa, and Miami, are all leaning towards Biden. Wink News will be on the air throughout the night. You can head to the Wink News app to view all the races in real time as they're called. I'm Russ McCaskey. Wink News now.
Now is the time to get countertops at Rock Solid. Why Rock Solid? How about Rock Solid's unbelievable prices? Full slabs of quartz from $599, granite $499, and remnants as low as $150. Rock Solid's vast selection of the finest stone from around the world. Rock Solid's award-winning customer service and installation in about a week. Want the best new countertops for your kitchen? The choice is simple. Rock Solid.
Rock Solid. We don't stop at just countertops.
See, I like state-of-the-art. I like equipment, for example, to test your water like Pentair uses. There's a big difference. When Max comes over and tests your water, they use Pentair's more scientific equipment instead of that old-fashioned chemical way, which means you get better results. And the Pentair salt-free combo has a lot more advantages. It's the one that I have. It's practically maintenance-free. Just pop in a new filter each year, and it's easy. There's no lugging in bags of salt every month, and no timers, no electricity, no saltwater waste, no hassles. And Pentair's salt-free smart combo means you won't be putting in dangerous sodium into that water as well. So if you've got problems with your water in your home, smells bad, tastes bad, call now for your free Pentair water test. Call Max. He's your local Pentair water specialist. He can show you exactly what's in your home's water with their new white glove service program. They can even maintain the system for you. And right now, take $199 off installation of your whole home water system. So call them today, 239-880-7799. That's 239-880-7799. Call today.
When you think RV, think La Mesa RV. Every RV is posted with our everyday low price. Top brands like Winnebago, Fleetwood, and Integra. A new Winnebago Intense motorhome, number A06509, is discounted over $37,000. If you're thinking it's time to check out RVs, think La Mesa RV. I-75 and Luckett Road in Fort Myers, or LaMesaRV.com. All advertised prices plus tax tag title and $9.95 dealer fee. Offer expires day of ad.
Do you suffer with knee pain that's keeping you from doing the activities that you enjoy most? Have you tried physical therapy or pain medications that didn't seem to work? You must find the underlying problem that's causing your knee pain if you ever want relief without taking endless drugs. Our experienced medical team at Optimal Health Clinic is trained to properly find the cause of your knee pain. After a thorough knee evaluation, we'll review your case further in order to develop a specific knee treatment plan customized for you. Our goal is to finally get rid of your knee pain and increase your function once and for all. We're offering a free no-obligation knee pain consultation for the first 25 callers. Call 239-317-7240. That's 239-317-7240. Imagine being able to live your life without knee pain. Call today for your pain-free tomorrow. 239-317-7240. That's 239-317-7240.
There's this
coronavirus. This event is a public health emergency.
This is very, very serious. And then this.
This president.
This was a failure. This a marathon.
This is 2020.
Is looking really easy.
And then this.
Socialism. This is crazy what's happening.
Scary stuff. Keep connected.
This information.
By checking in often.
Every single day. What's going on
This
now
is 92.5 Fox News.
If you were lied to when buying a timeshare and want out, you need my help. Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started the timeshare cancellation industry by exposing the ugly truth about timeshare and giving folks the straight facts. I've been fighting the timeshare giants ever since, so no one knows this industry better than me and my team. Today, we have 383 employees and have saved our clients an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Imagine putting those timeshare dollars back in your pocket. If you were told at a timeshare presentation that this was available today and today only, that timeshare was a great investment or your maintenance fees will never go up, call my office now. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-780-5959. 800-780